Chapter 2043. On the other side, after Ningyu and Zhao Rui appeared, they stood still without saying a word. However, their gazes were fixed on the people fighting for the heaven immortal laws on the other side of the barrier. Hell on earth. It would not be an exaggeration to describe the situation on the other side of the golden barrier as hell on earth. In order to snatch the heaven immortal laws, the people who had just joined forces were now on the battlefield. Is the old woman next to Jin Hua the one who ambushed you just now? Although Zhao Rui's gaze was also fixed on the other side of the barrier, her words brought up the old woman. With Zhao Rui's keen senses, she naturally noticed that someone had ambushed Ningyu not long ago. If the main door of the hall hadn't suddenly cracked open, the old woman would probably have charged out and attacked Ningyu. Ningyu did not deny it. He nodded and said, "Just a small fry, nothing to worry about." Nothing to worry about. Hearing Ningyu's words, even though Zhao Rui was mentally prepared, the corner of her mouth couldn't help but twitch. Although the old woman had concealed her aura, it was only a casual concealment. It was only enough to satisfy an ordinary early stage or mid-stage heaven immortal martial artist. She couldn't hide her aura from these people. Peak late stage heaven immortal. The old woman's cultivation was peak late stage heaven immortal, only a step away from the true peak heaven immortal. Zhao Rui knew very well that Ningyu wasn't even a heaven immortal yet. You're a martial artist who isn't even a heaven immortal. Even if you have some trump cards, where did you get the guts to say that a peak late stage heaven immortal is nothing to worry about? At this time, even though Zhao Rui knew Ningyu's character, she couldn't help but feel a little angry. Arrogant. Arrogant. These two labels were instantly placed on Ningyu by Zhao Rui. If Ningyu knew that Zhao Rui thought of him like this, he would probably spit out a mouthful of blood. He had abstruse immortal laws. Even if the old woman's cultivation was peak late stage heaven immortal, he was still fearless. Unless the old woman's cultivation advanced to peak heaven immortal, he would be able to win with his abstruse immortal laws. I hope you can still be as calm as you are now when facing that old woman, Zhao Rui said coldly. Then, she moved away from Ningyu, distancing herself from Ningyu. Ningyu's face darkened. A woman's heart was truly unfathomable. He did not provoke Zhao Rui, but Zhao Rui actually showed a resentful attitude towards him. If it wasn't for the sake of concealing the fact that he possessed mysterious immortal laws, Ningyu would probably tell Zhao Rui directly that he really wasn't afraid of the old woman. Shifting his gaze, Ningyu didn't care about Zhao Rui's attitude. Instead, he stared at the old woman with a thoughtful expression. To be honest, when the old woman had ambushed Ningyu, Ningyu had indeed regarded the old woman as his greatest enemy. There was no other reason. Ningyu did not know the exact cultivation level of the old woman, so he thought that she was a peak heaven immortal. Now that he knew the exact cultivation level of the old woman, he naturally wouldn't be as afraid as before. Whoosh! As Ningyu was looking at the old woman's gaze shifted over at the same time. The two collided, causing sparks to shoot out. Whoosh! Whoosh! Almost instantly, two cold glints shot out from Ningyu's and the old woman's eyes. Rumble! The cold glints collided and instantly dissipated between heaven and earth. Her strength is actually so strong. Although it was only a short exchange, and the old woman did not use her full strength, Ningyu was still able to roughly determine the old woman's strength through the exchange. She was infinitely close to the peak heaven immortal. The old woman was very strong. She was only a step away from breaking through to the peak heaven immortal. At this point, Ningyu gradually withdrew the contempt in his heart and began to take her seriously. Compared to Ningyu's shock, the old woman was even more shocked. She didn't attack just now to kill Ningyu, but to probe Ningyu. After probing, she finally determined what the aura on Ningyu that made her heart palpitate was. Profound immortal law. When the old woman found out that Ningyu had a profound immortal law, she wished for nothing more than to make a move immediately and snatch the profound immortal law. But the remaining trace of reason stopped her from acting rashly. Not to mention whether she could snatch the profound immortal law. Even Jin Hua, who was next to her, was very troublesome for her. Under such circumstances, she chose to conceal this information. In any case, looking at Jinhua's expression, he did not know that Ningyu had a profound immortal law. Rather than letting Jinhua know, it was better for her to choose to conceal it for now and then slowly plan. The hurried exchange between Ningyu and the old woman ended with both sides being afraid of each other. But at this moment, the exchange on the other side of the golden barrier had already reached a white-hot stage. As the battle went on, in the end, only 5 heaven immortals survived. Immortal Ku He from the Sacred Divine Palace, Immortal Ming Jiao from the Ancient Devil Sect, Immortal Baldi from the Fallen Spirits Sect, Immortal Xiong Tuo from the Abandoned Eagle Dominion, and Immortal Wen Qi from the Tiger Dominion. The cultivation of these 5 surviving martial artists was surprisingly consistent. All of them were late-stage heaven immortals. However, at this moment, Immortal Ku He, Immortal Ming Jiao, and Immortal Baldi had joined forces and held 70% of the heaven immortal law and 2 pseudo-profound immortal laws. As for Immortal Xiong Tuo and Immortal Wen Qi, they only had 30% of the heaven immortal law and 1 pseudo-profound immortal law. Both sides were not too satisfied with this distribution, but because the other party was stronger, they did not start a conflict for the time being. It's time to go out. The old woman withdrew her gaze from Ningyu, then leaped up and dashed out. Jinhua did not hesitate and followed closely behind the old woman. Since he had joined forces with the old woman, he naturally had to advance and retreat together with her at this time. But before they set off, Jinhua used the Central Divine Dynasty's unique voice transmission method to tell Zhao Rui that he and the old woman were only pretending and not really joining forces. Zhao Rui chose to ignore Jinhua's message with a smile. After all, she knew Jinhua's character. She did not care whether Jinhua was pretending or not. As long as Jinhua did not start a conflict with Ningyu, she would be very satisfied. Demonic Snake Immortal. Seeing the old woman come over, Immortal Ku He and Immortal Ming Jiao hurriedly said respectfully, "We have snatched these heaven immortal laws and profound immortal laws for you." As they spoke, Immortal Ku He, Immortal Ming Jiao, and the others handed all the laws that they had painstakingly obtained to the old woman, who was also known as Demonic Snake Immortal. The sudden change caused Jinhua to be a little stunned. He did not expect that Immortal Ku He and the others were the old woman's pawns and would obediently hand over the laws they had painstakingly obtained to the old woman. It should be noted that in order to obtain these laws, Immortal Ku He and the others had all been injured. I'm very sorry. Chapter 2044. Jinhua's expression turned extremely unsightly when he heard Immortal Fiend Snake's mocking words. He had indeed told Immortal Fiend Snake that he wanted 60% of the heavenly immortal laws and 2 pseudo-arcane immortal laws. However, that was under the premise that the 2 of them had joined forces. Right now, Immortal Fiend Snake had managed to snatch 70% of the heavenly immortal laws and 20% of the pseudo-arcane immortal laws. If he continued to be stubborn, he would not be able to adapt to the situation. Interesting. Immortal Fiend Snake's lips curled up into a smile when she saw Jinhua's gloomy expression. Immortal Fiend Snake's plan was very simple. She wanted Jinhua to deal with Immortal Xiong Tuo and Immortal Wen Qi. As for her, she wanted to judge Jinhua's true strength through his attacks. I'll naturally snatch what I want myself. Jinhua snorted coldly before he leaped up and charged towards Immortal Xiong Tuo and Immortal Wen Qi. We're willing to offer up our heavenly immortal laws and profound immortal laws. Immortal Xiong Tuo and Immortal Wen Qi said hurriedly when they saw Jinhua charging towards them. The 2 of them were no fools. They could sense an extremely terrifying aura from Immortal Fiend Snake. In other words, Immortal Fiend Snake was much stronger than them. Even someone as strong as Immortal Fiend Snake was rather respectful towards Jinhua and even wanted to hand over the laws that he had painstakingly obtained to Jinhua. This was enough to show that Jinhua was definitely not weak. Immortal Ku He and the others had sided with Immortal Fiend Snake, so they might as well side with Jinhua. Jinhua was slightly dumbfounded by immortal Xiong Tuo and immortal Wenqi's actions. However, Jinhua came to a realization after he thought about it. Everyone wanted to live. Immortal Xiong Tuo and immortal Wenqi would definitely not blindly make an enemy out of him. Very well. Jinhua nodded lightly and took a pseudo-arcane immortal law and 30% of the heavenly immortal laws from Xiong Tuo and Wenqi. Xiong Tuo and Wenqi also stood behind Jinhua and glared at immortal Ku He and Mingjiu. Devour. After obtaining 30% of the heavenly immortal laws, Jinhua didn't hesitate at all. He immediately tossed them into his mouth and started devouring. Although Jinhua's cultivation level was at the late heavenly immortal stage, as long as he didn't advance to the Xian immortal stage, no one would complain about having too few heavenly immortal laws. After all, every additional heavenly immortal law he possessed would increase his strength slightly. As for devouring the false profound immortal laws now, Jinhua didn't have the guts for now. Because even if it was a pseudo-profound immortal law, it was still a profound immortal law. With Jinhua's current cultivation at the advanced stage of the heavenly immortal realm, the success rate of devouring a pseudo-profound immortal law was less than 20%. For the sake of ensuring that nothing went wrong, Jinhua naturally had to improve his cultivation first. At the very least, he had to wait until his cultivation had risen to the peak of the heavenly immortal realm before he could devour the laws of the false profound immortal realm. Buzz. Jinhua's success rate in devouring pseudo-profound immortal laws was less than 20%, but his success rate in devouring heavenly immortal laws was 100%. About 30% of the celestial immortal laws, there were about a dozen or so. Jinhua only used 3 minutes to completely devour over a dozen heavenly immortal laws. After devouring over a dozen heavenly immortal laws, Jinhua's strength increased once more. Although Jinhua's cultivation was still at the late stage of the heavenly immortal realm, his strength had increased by at least 10 to 20%. Buzz. On the other side, the fiend snake immortal wasn't idle either. She opened her mouth and tossed about 70% of the heavenly immortal laws into her mouth. Over 40 heavenly immortal laws were a huge help to the fiend snake immortal. Fortunately, the fiend snake immortal's cultivation was slightly higher than Jinhua's, at the peak of the late stage of the heavenly immortal realm. Otherwise, devouring over 40 heavenly immortal laws at once would definitely waste a lot of time. Fortunately, the fiend snake immortal only used 5 minutes to devour over 40 heavenly immortal laws. After devouring and refining over 40 heavenly immortal laws, the fiend snake immortal's combat strength had a qualitative increase. If the fiend snake immortal was only half a step away from the peak of the heavenly immortal realm before, then now, other than her aura that had yet to reach the peak of the heavenly immortal realm, she could already be considered as a true peak of the heavenly immortal realm in every aspect. Nurturing a tiger is inviting calamity. For some reason, when he sensed the increase in the fiend snake immortal's aura, these 4 words suddenly appeared in the depths of Jinhua's heart. At this moment, Jinhua was faintly regretting. Before devouring the heavenly immortal laws, he was confident that if he used his trump card, he could go against the fiend snake immortal and even kill her. But at this moment, he didn't have full confidence. In other words, even if he used his trump card, he might not be able to go against the fiend snake immortal. When he thought up to here, Jinhua's gaze couldn't help but shift towards Ningyu and the others who were at the other side. From the beginning to the end, Ningyu and Zhao Rui's group didn't get involved. Could it be that they don't want the heavenly immortal laws and pseudo-profound immortal laws? Jinhua was puzzled. As far as Jinhua was concerned, anyone whose cultivation hadn't advanced to the profound immortal realm would covet the heavenly immortal laws and pseudo-profound immortal laws. However, the calm actions of Ningyu and the others made him slightly nervous in his heart. You don't want the pseudo-profound immortal laws? While Jinhua was puzzled, Zhao Rui looked at Ningyu and said doubtfully, "To you, if you obtained a few pseudo-profound immortal laws, your strength would at least increase by a few times." Testing me? How could Ningyu not know that Zhao Rui was testing him? If he wasn't wrong, Zhao Rui probably suspected him and suspected that he possessed the true profound immortal laws. However, Ningyu didn't intend to admit it. He shrugged and said, I haven't even overcome the heavenly immortal tribulation. How could I dare to covet the pseudo-profound immortal laws? After that, Ningyu glanced deeply at Zhao Rui and continued. On the other hand, your cultivation is at the advanced stage of the heavenly immortal realm, so you should have the ability to seize the pseudo-profound immortal laws. But I see that you're calm and composed. Could it be that you've already made up your mind? Or perhaps you possess the true profound immortal laws? Thump! Zhao Rui's heart jerked when she heard this. She was indeed testing Ningyu earlier, but she didn't expect that Ningyu would actually test her instead. Why don't we join forces? We'll be able to go further on the path to heaven. Zhao Rui smiled and changed the topic. This isn't the only path to heaven. Oh? Let's hear it. Ningyu asked. From a mortal Hongling, Ningyu knew that there was a path to heaven. Now that he heard what Zhao Rui said, it seemed like there were many paths to heaven. There are indeed many paths to heaven. Zhao Rui nodded and explained. There's a path to heaven in the immortal spirit realm, and there's a path to heaven in the devil spirit realm. Simply put, there's a path to heaven in every lower level plane. At first, these paths to heaven don't intersect, but in the end, they will converge and form a huge path to heaven. Chapter 2045. Rumble. Not long after Zhao Rui's voice faded, a rumbling sound soared into the sky. Not good. The instant the rumbling sound rang out, Jin Hua and Immortal Snake, who were on the other side of the barrier, paled and hastily retreated. Swish, swish, swish. Immortal Withered Crane and Immortal Brightdove were no fools. Since Jin Hua and Immortal Fiend Snake had retreated, they naturally had no reason to stay. The path to heaven is about to appear, Zhao Rui murmured as she stared at the golden futon. Boom! Zhao Rui was right. In the blink of an eye, the golden praying mat split open from the middle, and a huge pillar of light suddenly rushed out. Is the path to heaven going to appear? Zhao Rui was not the only one who wore a grave expression when she saw the changes to the golden futon. Even Jin Hua and the demonic snake Immortal had grave expressions on their faces as they stared at the pillar of light shooting out from under the golden futon. Without a doubt, the entrance to the path of ingress was this enormous pillar of light. However, Zhao Rui and the others did not act rashly. Since they knew about the through path, they definitely knew that before entering the through path, they would have to undergo a test. According to the records, every lower planes test was different. Drip. Time passed by quickly. Half an hour passed in the blink of an eye. In this half an hour, there were no changes to the huge pillar of light. Are there no more tests? Immortal Snake frowned. If there was no test, it would be a waste of time for them to continue waiting here. But if he were to rush in recklessly and there was a test, wouldn't he have to bear the consequences? You go over? Fiend Snake Immortal rolled his eyes, grabbed Withered Crane Immortal's shoulder, and threw him toward the huge pillar of light. Devil Snake Immortal's cultivation base was at the peak of the late-stage Heaven Immortal stage, and he was only a thin layer away from the peak of the Heaven Immortal stage. Although Immortal Withered Crane was also a late-stage Heavenly Immortal, the difference between him and Immortal Fiend Snake was not just a little bit. Even if Immortal Withered Crane didn't want to go, he could only brace himself and accept Immortal Snake's instructions. Whoosh! Immortal Withered Crane's body flashed, and he soon arrived before the enormous pillar of light. After staring at the pillar of light for a few minutes, Immortal Withered Crane gritted his teeth and directly entered the pillar of light. Shio! However, before Immortal Withered Crane could enter the enormous pillar of light, a cold golden light shot out from within the pillar of light. This streak of golden light was very fast, so fast that before Immortal Withered Crane could react, it had already arrived in front of him. Damn it! Immortal Withered Crane's face instantly darkened when he saw the cold golden light rushing toward him. With no time to think, Immortal Withered Crane used all his strength to flee to Immortal Devil Snake. However, the speed at which Immortal Withered Crane fled was clearly inferior to the speed of the cold golden light. In the blink of an eye, the golden light streaked across Immortal Withered Crane's neck. If the Withered Crane Immortal stood where he was and extended his right hand, pointing at the Devil Snake Immortal. He wanted to say something, but before he could finish his sentence, his body fell backwards. Bang! Before Immortal Withered Crane's body hit the ground, his head separated from his body and fell to the ground first. Hiss! This sudden development caused Immortal Bright Dove and the others to suck in a breath of cold air. How could they not be shocked? Immortal Withered Crane's strength was on par with theirs, at the late-stage sky immortal level. Now, Immortal Withered Crane had been easily killed by the cold golden light, and even his head had been separated from his body. One could easily imagine that the others would not have a good ending either. So this is the test? Immortal Devil Snake stared fixedly at the enormous pillar of light, then waved his hands repeatedly. His left hand grabbed Immortal Bright Dove's shoulder, his right hand grabbed Immortal Baldy's shoulder, and he tossed them toward the enormous pillar of light. Swish! Swish! How could Immortal Bright Dove and Immortal Baldy be fools? They'd clearly seen how Immortal Withered Crane died miserably earlier. Knowing that they would definitely die, Immortal Devil Snake still wanted them to be cannon fodder. They would definitely not be willing. After all, according to Immortal Devil Snake's thinking, they would definitely die if they went over. If they fought against Immortal Devil Snake, they would still have a chance of survival. At this moment, even an idiot would know that they should fight against Immortal Devil Snake. Thus, the two of them suddenly turned around in midair and charged toward Immortal Devil Snake. One-line punch. Immortal Bright Dove bellowed. He clenched his right hand into a fist and punched viciously toward Immortal Devil Snake's head. Vulture Palm. Immortal Baldy spread open his right hand, gathered all the yuan in his body in his palm, and sent a backhand slap toward Immortal Devil Snake. Interesting. Immortal Bright Dove and Immortal Baldy's sudden change of heart caused Ning Yu's lips to curl up. Ning Yu knew that Immortal Devil Snake was very powerful. However, he did not know exactly how powerful Immortal Devil Snake was. Immortal Bright Dove and Immortal Baldy's frenzied attacks naturally helped him understand Immortal Devil Snake's strength. Humph! You overestimate yourself. Immortal Devil Snake appeared very calm in the face of Immortal Bright Dove and Immortal Baldy. He snorted coldly, and his body shot forward. Bang! Bang! In the time it took for a spark to fly off a flint, Immortal Devil Snake sent out 2 kicks. Although the Devil Snake Immortal's 2 kicks appeared to be very ordinary, they were actually extremely powerful. 2 kicks. Just 2 kicks, and Immortal Bright Dove and Immortal Baldy were sent flying. The direction they were sent flying was the direction of the enormous pillar of light. Swish! Swish! Just like before, Immortal Bright Dove and Immortal Baldy had just approached the enormous pillar of light when 2 cold golden beams of light shot out. These 2 cold golden beams of light were very fast, and in almost an instant, they streaked past the necks of Immortal Bright Dove and Immortal Baldy. Bang! Wherever the cold light passed, 2 heads fell to the ground. At this moment, Immortal Bright Dove and Immortal Baldy died miserably on the spot. Jinhua. Immortal Devil Snake did not care about the deaths of Immortal Bright Dove and Immortal Baldy at all. On the contrary, her gaze shifted towards Jinhua. Intentionally or unintentionally, her gaze swept past Xiong Tuo and Wenqi. Immortal Devil Snake's intentions were self-evident. She wanted Jinhua to send Xiong Tuo and Wenqi to the side of the Pillar of Light. I think we can use another method. Jinhua had an idea, and he said, in any case, whenever something approaches the Pillar of Light, it will shoot out a cold golden beam of light. Why don't we throw out a few immortal crystals and try? As he spoke, Jinhua flicked his wrist, tossing out a few immortal crystals. Jinhua was not stupid. Since the 3 late-stage heavenly immortal experts who had submitted to Immortal Devil Snake had been killed, he naturally would not let Xiong Tuo and Wenqi die in vain. After all, the heaven-span path was incomparably dangerous. An additional follower would increase his chances of survival. Although he was very confident in his own strength, no matter how confident he was, it was always better to have an additional layer of insurance. However, in order to deepen his control over Xiong Tuo and Wenqi, Jin Hua threw the immortal crystals towards the Pillar of Light while sending a voice transmission to Xiong Tuo and Wenqi. If you want to live, then open your mind and let me control you. Jin Hua's possessiveness was very strong. In his opinion, since Xiong Tuo and Wenqi had submitted to him, then they should open their minds and let him control them. Chapter 2046. Okay, Xiong Tuo and Wenqi knew their limits. Even immortal withered crane and the others had died to the golden light. If the two of them went over, they would definitely die a horrible death. Jin Hua was willing to protect them now. Even if they had to pay the price of being controlled, they would absolutely not refuse. Because if they refused, only death would await them. Buzz. After receiving confirmation from Xiong Tuo and Wenqi, two wisps of soul force flew out of Jin Hua's body and instantly entered Xiong Tuo's and Wenqi's minds. Crack! While Jin Hua was controlling Xiong Tuo and Wenqi, the few immortal crystals he had thrown out all shattered. The shattering of the immortal crystals meant that Jin Hua's judgment was correct. It meant that immortal withered crane and the others had died in vain. Seeing the immortal crystals shatter, immortal fiend snake's face was as gloomy as ice, and she trembled with anger. Although immortal withered crane and immortal bright dove were not as strong as her, they were still late-stage sky immortals. On the through path, she could save a lot of trouble with the help of 3 late-stage sky immortals. Now, immortal withered crane and the others were all killed, causing her to lose 3 capable helpers. You guys, come over here. The more she thought about it, the angrier she became. She suddenly turned around and looked coldly at Ningyu and the others, saying in a deep voice, "We've been working so hard to crack the light pillars here, but you guys are actually doing nothing." Immortal Fiend Snake's meaning was very simple. She wanted to drag Ningyu and the others down, and even wanted Ningyu to go to the light pillars. This idea could not be said not to be vicious. After all, no one knew how many golden lights there were in total. Letting Ningyu go at this time would most likely lead to death. Wouldn't I lose face if I go just because you want me to? Ningyu shrugged casually. Think of a way yourself if you have the ability. If you don't make a fuss. You. Immortal Fiend Snake was so angry that her nose was crooked. She didn't expect Ningyu to dare speak to her like this. One should know that her current cultivation level was the highest in this area. How could Ningyu, a martial artist who was not even a fairy immortal, dare to talk to her like this? I think you won't cry until you see the coffin. Immortal Snake looked at Ningyu coldly. Then, he leaped up and rushed out. Immortal Fiend Snake was truly at the end of his tether and decided to teach Ningyu a lesson. Otherwise, wouldn't Ningyu go against the heavens? Whoosh! Before Devil Snake Immortal could reach Ningyu, Zhao Rui's figure flashed and blocked Devil Snake Immortal's path. I have a way to enter the through path. Zhao Rui's face was expressionless as she spoke. Seeing Zhao Rui standing in front of him, Demon Snake Immortal instantly stopped and floated in the air. Although the demonic Snake Immortal was very unwilling, she had to admit that she also sensed a terrifying aura from Zhao Rui's body. The aura from Zhao Rui's body was extremely similar to the one emitted from Ningyu's body. Demon Snake Immortal was not afraid of Ningyu alone. In fact, she was even confident that she could kill Ningyu. However, if Zhao Rui was added into the mix, then Demon Snake Immortal would have to think twice. After all, there was still Jin Hua eyeing them covetously from the side. Demon Snake Immortal knew very well that once she suffered a serious injury, Jin Hua would definitely snatch the 2 pseudo-arcane immortal laws from her without any qualms. It had to be said, this group of people had gradually formed a strange relationship. They formed a triangle, and no one dared to act rashly. Why didn't you say so earlier? Demon Snake Immortal took a deep breath and said coldly to Zhao Rui, Zhao Rui raised her head and glanced at Demon Snake Immortal. Then, she immediately moved her feet and walked towards the huge light pillar. Damn it! Demon Snake Immortal couldn't help but curse when she saw Zhao Rui ignore her. However, cursing was just cursing. Demon Snake Immortal wouldn't find trouble with Zhao Rui at this time. What if Zhao Rui got angry and didn't tell her how to enter the path to heaven? Because if she couldn't enter the path to heaven, her years of planning would go to waste. Therefore, to Demon Snake Immortal, she had to enter the path to heaven today. Moreover, she had to enter the path to heaven first. There were many paths to heaven. Every low-level plane, like the immortal spirit realm, would have a path to heaven. However, there were very few paths to heaven. There was only one in total. Entering the path to heaven first meant that one would have more opportunities to obtain opportunities than others. Nothing bad will happen, right? Seeing Zhao Rui approaching the huge light pillar step by step, the eight-legged demonic beast couldn't help but mutter to himself. Ningyu glared at the eight-legged demonic beast, but didn't say anything. After all, Zhao Rui hadn't really made a move before. It was understandable that the eight-legged demonic beast didn't think highly of her. I didn't expect that even I would make an error of judgment. Relatively speaking, the human demon had a clearer view than the eight-legged demonic beast. No matter what, he was a mid-stage sky immortal expert. He could feel a terrifying aura from Zhao Rui. It was no exaggeration to say that as long as Zhao Rui wanted to, she could kill him at any time. Regarding this point, the human demon's heart was as clear as a mirror. Go! What the eight-legged demonic beast was worried about did not happen. When Zhao Rui was still some distance away from the huge light pillar, she suddenly stopped. At the same time, she took out a crystal ball and threw it into the light pillar. I can't believe it. Seeing the crystal ball that Zhao Rui had tossed out, Immortal Snake cursed, his mouth wide open. The reason why Immortal Devil Snake had such an expression wasn't because he could enter the path to heaven now, but because there was a pseudo-profound immortal law in the crystal ball that Zhao Rui had thrown out. To calmly throw out a pseudo-Xian immortal law, this boldness, no, it should be this stupid action, made Devil Snake Immortal very angry. Don't just stand there. If you want to enter the path to heaven, you'd better throw out two more pseudo-profound immortal laws. Zhao Rui returned to Ningyu's side and said to the demonic snake immortal, "Throw the pseudo-profound immortal laws in." Immortal Snake was stunned. She didn't expect this result. However, in order to enter the path to heaven, she didn't waste time. Instead, she gritted her teeth and threw out a pseudo-profound immortal law. And you, after throwing out the pseudo-profound immortal law, Immortal Devil Snake glared at Jin Hua and said, "You have to throw out a pseudo-profound immortal law too." Immortal Devil Snake had lost a pseudo-profound immortal law, so she naturally wouldn't be happy to see Jin Hua. In any case, Jin Hua also had a pseudo-profound immortal law. She would only feel better if Jin Hua threw out one. Why should it be me? Jin Hua's expression was very ugly. He said in a low voice, "Zhao Rui and I are both from the Central Divine Dynasty. We're on the same side. Even if I have to take out another pseudo-profound immortal law, it shouldn't be me. It should be Ningyu." Swish! Jin Hua pointed the spearhead at Ningyu. "I don't have a pseudo-profound immortal law." Ningyu shrugged calmly and said, "So your idea can't be realized for now." Chapter 2047. Jin Hua was very smart. Not only did he point the spearhead at Ningyu, he even dragged the demonic snake immortal down with him. He should have been the one to take out the third pseudo-arcane immortal law. But after what he said, it became a matter between Ningyu and the demonic snake immortal. Idiot! Ningyu rolled his eyes, then chose to close his eyes to rest. Ningyu's meaning was obvious and self-evident. Since Jin Hua wanted to enter the through path, he had to take out the pseudo-arcane immortal law. Otherwise, he could only waste time here. Furthermore, Ningyu wasn't lying. He really didn't have the pseudo-arcane immortal law. The only law he had was the pseudo-arcane immortal law. He couldn't possibly take out the real pseudo-arcane immortal law just to enter the through path, right? Ningyu wasn't that stupid. I'm so pissed. Jin Hua's expression was cold as he clenched his fists, having the urge to attack. However, because Zhao Rui was next to him, he could only reluctantly take out the pseudo-arcane immortal law he had just obtained. Swoosh! With a flick of his wrist, Jin Hua threw the pseudo-arcane immortal law into the huge light pillar. Rumble! As soon as Jin Hua threw the pseudo-arcane immortal law into the light pillar, an earth-shattering rumble came from within. Let's go! Hearing the rumbling sound in her ears, Zhao Rui stamped her feet on the ground and dashed out. Swoosh! 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 Behind Zhao Rui, Jin Hua, the demonic snake immortal, Xiong Tuo, and when she instantly rushed into the light pillar. Let's go too. Seeing Zhao Rui and the others rush into the light pillar, Ningyu shouted to the human demon and the others beside him. After entering the through path, follow me closely. Remember not to get separated. Ningyu was very clear. Even entering the through path required 3 pseudo-arcane immortal laws, so it was obvious that the through path was very dangerous. The human demon was only a mid-stage heaven immortal, and the 8-legged demonic beast was not even a heaven immortal. If it wasn't for the human demon and the others wanting to see the through path, Ningyu would have even let them enter the storage ring. Whoosh! The moment he charged into the light pillar, Ningyu felt a suffocating pressure assaulting him. You too, hurry up and get into the storage ring, Ningyu said to the human demon and the 8-legged demon beast in an unquestionable tone as he sensed the pressure surging toward him. Swoosh! The human devil and the 8-legged demonic beast were not ignorant people. This suffocating pressure was equivalent to the attack of a late-stage heaven immortal expert. Even if the two of them used their full strength, they would definitely not be able to withstand it. Therefore, they didn't hesitate at all and directly entered the storage ring. Be careful, there might be powerful demonic beasts up ahead. Zhao Rui's voice rang out beside Ningyu's ears as soon as the 2 demonic beasts entered the storage ring. Hearing Zhao Rui's words, Ningyu was slightly stunned. But soon, Ningyu felt relieved. As a genius of the Central Divine Dynasty, it was normal for Zhao Rui to know about the situation on the path of heaven. But there was one thing that made Ningyu very puzzled. Not only did Zhao Rui warn him, but she also warned the demonic snake immortal and Jin Hua. In Ningyu's opinion, Zhao Rui's warning to Jin Hua was understandable. After all, Jin Hua was also a member of the Central Divine Dynasty. But why did Zhao Rui warn the demonic snake immortal? After all, the demonic snake immortal had been eyeing them covetously. Reminding the demonic snake immortal was completely unnecessary and unnecessary. But soon, Ningyu understood why Zhao Rui had warned the demonic snake immortal. It's just the path of heaven, not the path of heaven. What kind of powerful demonic beast could there be? The demonic snake immortal snorted and immediately injected the immortal energy in his body into his ankles. His body sped away, and in the blink of an eye, he disappeared from Ningyu's sight. Damn it! Seeing the demonic snake immortal disappear, Jin Hua could not help but curse inwardly. He was originally on the same side as the demonic snake immortal. Now that the demonic snake immortal had left alone, he was very angry. Even so, he still had to make a choice. Go with the demonic snake immortal, or go with Zhao Rui and Ningyu. Let's meet again on the path of heaven. He thought for a second. A second later, Jin Hua made his choice. He glanced at Zhao Rui, then leaped up and rushed out at an extremely terrifying speed. Follow me. As soon as Jin Hua's foot left, Zhao Rui took out a flying carpet from her bosom and threw it into the air. Zhao Rui was the first to jump onto the flying carpet and sit cross-legged. Without hesitation, Ningyu jumped onto the flying carpet. As for the Five-Finger Immortal and Hongling Immortal, they also jumped onto the flying carpet after Ningyu. Swish! Although Zhao Rui was sitting cross-legged with her eyes closed, she still controlled the flying carpet and flew forward at high speed. Sizzle! The flying carpet was so fast that the friction between it and the air produced a sizzling sound. Ningyu did not foolishly ask Zhao Rui for the destination of this trip. After all, he knew very well that there was only one goal for this trip, and that was the path of heaven. After all, there were countless paths of heaven like this, and these countless paths of heaven were like countless tributaries that would eventually converge into a huge path of heaven. The final path of heaven was the main battlefield. Look at the path you're leading. While Ningyu and Zhao Rui were flying at full speed, in another region, Jinhua's face was ashen. At this moment, Jinhua was filled with regret. He regretted not following Zhao Rui and choosing to follow the demonic snake Immortal instead. As it turned out, the demonic snake Immortal was simply running around randomly. Because the demonic snake Immortal was running around randomly, he had accidentally barged into a valley. Jinhua would not have been so angry if he had only barged into a valley. The mistake was that there was an aura in this valley that made Jinhua's heart palpitate. Roar! Suddenly, an earth-shattering roar was heard, followed by an afterimage that dashed out of the void. Not good. It's a golden battle wolf. Jinhua's face darkened to the extreme when he saw the sudden appearance of the demonic beast. The golden battle wolf was the emperor of the wolf clan, equivalent to the purple gold sky devouring hound in the sky devouring hound clan. The golden battle wolf before him was a peak late-stage sky immortal, only half a step away from the peak sky immortal realm. Although Jinhua and the demonic snake immortal were not afraid of this golden battle wolf in a one-on-one battle, exhausting their stamina in the path of heaven was extremely disadvantageous for the situation after entering the path of heaven. You two, go and test its strength first, the demonic snake immortal said to Xiong Tuo and Wenqi, his face ashen. Swoosh! Xiong Tuo and Wenqi's faces turned extremely ugly when they heard the demonic snake immortal's words. Although both of them were late heaven immortal experts, they didn't have the confidence to fight a peak late heaven immortal gold combat wolf. In other words, even if the two of them joined forces, the chances of them stopping the golden battle wolf was only a terrifying 10%. Go. If you can't beat it, I'll make a move. Chapter 2048. I hope you can keep your promise. Xiong Tuo and Wenqi glanced at each other before flashing out in unison, charging towards the gold combat wolf in midair. Sky Splitter Fist. Thunder Wave Art. Xiong Tuo and Wenqi did not hold back and used their trump card in the first move. Sky Splitter Fist and Thunder Wave Art were pinnacle sacred rank martial skills. Xiong Tuo and Wenqi were late-stage heaven immortals. Pinnacle sacred rank martial skills could unleash their peak power in their hands. Roar! However, facing Xiong Tuo and Wenqi's attack, the gold battle wolf roared at the sky and dashed forward. Crack! Crack! The gold battle wolf was very fast and arrived beside Xiong Tuo and Wenqi in the blink of an eye. Its forehooves kicked out and landed on Xiong Tuo and Wenqi's chests. A crisp sound was heard. After that, Xiong Tuo and Wenqi were sent flying and fell heavily on the ground. Several of their ribs were broken. Swoosh! The gold combat wolf did not intend to hold back after its attack succeeded. Instead, it continued to pursue Zhang Xian. Jinhua, save me. Xiong Tuo and Wenqi hurriedly asked Jinhua for help when they saw the gold battle wolf charging towards them. Given their strength, there was no way they could go against the gold battle wolf. If Jinhua didn't help them, their fates could already be foreseen. They would definitely die. Therefore, they were very anxious and hoped that Jinhua could help them. Damn it! Jinhua could not help but curse when he saw Xiong Tuo and Wenqi's instant defeat. Although he cursed, Jinhua did not choose to ignore it. Instead, he dashed out to help Xiong Tuo and Wenqi resist the attack of the gold battle wolf. Swoosh! However, Jinhua had just dashed out a few steps when he came to an abrupt halt in the air. Roar! The reason why Jinhua stopped was none other than the fact that two more terrifying roars rang out. Two golden battle wolf beasts appeared beside Xiong Tuo and Wenqi after the two loud roars were heard. Whoosh! Whoosh! As soon as the two gold battle wolf appeared, They opened their bloody mouths and swallowed Xiong Tuo and Wenqi. Gulp. The sudden death of Xiong Tuo and Wenqi made Jin Hua's face turn extremely cold, and he swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Looks like we'll have to use our trump cards today. Fiend Snake Immortal's face was livid, and he said in a deep voice, "Concentrate all your strength and kill a gold battle wolf first." Immortal Snake was very intelligent. She didn't want to deal with 2 of the 3 golden battle wolves. For now, she and Jin Hua could only work together to kill a golden battle wolf first, then kill 1 each. This distribution method couldn't be any better. No problem. Jin Hua was not a fool. Given the current situation, this was probably the only method that Immortal Devil Snake had mentioned. Kill. Snake Immortal raised the walking stick in his hand and ruthlessly smashed it towards the first gold battle wolf. Seeing Immortal Demon Snake going all out, Jin Hua did not remain idle. Instead, he pulled out a silvery white flying sword from his bosom. The condensed blue sword. The flying sword Jin Hua took out was called the condensed blue sword, which was a peak stage heavenly treasure. Jin Hua hadn't revealed his condensed jade sword during his initial exchange with Ningyu. This was so that he could gain the upper hand in the subsequent exchange. However, the current situation forced him to use the condensed jade sword. Boom! Jin Hua and Immortal Demon Snake were both peak stage heaven immortals. How powerful would they be if they worked together? Even though the first gold battle wolf tried its best to resist, it still couldn't block their powerful attacks. Crack! The condensed jade sword slashed the neck of the gold battle wolf. An Immortal Demon Snake's walking stick hit its chest. Almost instantly, the gold battle wolf was killed. 1 each. After killing the first gold battle wolf, Immortal Demon Snake and Jin Hua didn't feel proud. Instead, they looked more serious. Although they had killed a gold battle wolf with 1 move, their first moves were actually their strongest killing moves. Moreover, compared to the first gold battle wolf, the remaining 2 gold battle wolves were even more powerful. Because the remaining 2 gold battle wolves had devoured Wenqi and Xiong Tuo, who were peak stage heaven immortals and had all kinds of immortal crystals and dharma treasures. After the remaining gold battle wolves devoured them, their combat power would increase by at least 10%. No problem. Although he knew it was dangerous, Jin Hua didn't retreat. Jin Hua knew very well that once he retreated, he would be killed and devoured by the gold battle wolf. Rumble. The battle instantly erupted. Fiend Snake Immortal and Jin Hua did not hold back. They both used their strongest killer moves. However, it would be harder for them to quickly kill the gold battle wolf in a one-on-one battle. If this situation continued, it would take at least a few hours for them to kill the gold battle wolf. No, I have to think of a way. Jin Hua's eyes turned as he secretly thought of a countermeasure. In a few hours, Ningyu would most likely reach the path to heaven. The earlier he reached the path to heaven, the earlier he could obtain the fortuitous opportunities. Jin Hua didn't want to fall behind Ningyu, so he gritted his teeth and forced out a few drops of blood, which he dripped onto the condensed jade sword. Buzz! As the blood dripped onto the condensed jade sword, it let out a buzzing sound and trembled rapidly. The trembling of the condensed jade sword seemed irregular, but that wasn't the case. Trembling wave. The so-called trembling wave was a kind of martial technique that Jin Hua had cultivated in the Central Divine Dynasty. If the martial techniques that Xiong Tuo and Wenqi had just displayed were peak saint-level martial techniques, then the trembling wave that Jin Hua displayed now was even more powerful. It was only 1 step away from a true immortal-level martial technique. A half-step immortal-level martial technique. Slash! Jin Hua held the condensed jade sword and slashed at the gold battle wolf. Jin Hua's sword was extremely powerful, almost reaching the strongest move he could display at the moment. Apart from the peerless trump card that he had brought from the Central Divine Dynasty, the power of Jin Hua's sword was the strongest move he could display at the moment. It was even stronger than the move that Immortal Demon Snake had just used. Crack! The powerful trembling wave directly cut off the gold battle wolf's tail. Roar! After its tail was cut off, the gold battle wolf roared at the sky, and then its body kept growing. Berserk. The gold battle wolf was the emperor of the wolf clan, and its berserk technique was extremely terrifying. It could be said that a gold battle wolf with the strength of a late-stage Sky Immortal could very likely increase its strength to the peak of the Sky Immortal level after using the berserk technique. I'm gonna stop it from going berserk. Jinhua wasn't a hothead. He knew that once the gold battle wolf went berserk, the consequences would be unimaginable. Therefore, he forced out a few more drops of blood and dripped them onto the condensed jade sword. Chapter 2049. Pucci. In the end, Jinhua spat out a mouthful of dark red blood. This mouthful of blood caused Jinhua's already pale face to turn even paler, as if there was no blood in it. Kill. It could be seen that in order to stop the gold battle wolf from going berserk, Jinhua could be said to have used all his trump cards and risked his life. Kacha. Fortunately, after paying such a heavy price, Jinhua finally managed to slash the golden battle wolf's neck with his condensed jade sword. A crisp sound rang out. After that, the gold battle wolf widened its eyes and fell to the ground with a face full of unwillingness. Bang! Its body slammed into the ground. Even until its death, the gold battle wolf could not understand how Jinhua could kill it with a single slash. Puff! Just as Jinhua killed the gold battle wolf on this side, Devil Snake Immortal used the staff in her hand to pierce the heart of the gold battle wolf she was fighting with. At this point, the two stronger gold battle wolves had died tragically. Xiao! Xiao! After killing the gold war wolf, Jinhua and the demonic snake Immortal had no time to rest. Although the battle was fierce, they still won in the end. The three golden battle wolves were all at the late Sky Immortal stage. To Jinhua and Devil Snake Immortal, a late-stage Heaven Immortal's inner core was a huge temptation. Pucci! Pucci! Almost instantly, Jinhua and Immortal Fiend Snake each obtained a golden battle wolf's Niden. This Niden should be mine. Jinhua expressed his opinion on how to handle the last Niden. My servants, Xiong Tuo and Wenqi, both died in battle to test the golden battle wolf. Therefore, the final inner core will definitely be mine. The demonic snake Immortal looked at Jinhua like he was looking at an idiot. He said indifferently, "The two of us work together to kill a golden battle wolf. No matter what, we should split the spirit core equally." Jinhua and Fiend Snake Immortal didn't want to let go of a late-stage Sky Immortal Niden. All right, half it is. Jinhua did not persist. Instead, he swung his condensed jade sword repeatedly and slashed at the last golden battle wolf core. Ka! Wherever the flying sword passed, the golden battle wolf's Niden would be split into two. Jinhua and Immortal Snake Fiend each got half. Go! After obtaining the golden battle wolf's beast core, Jinhua and the Fiend Snake Immortal did not waste any time here. Instead, they dashed away swiftly. After this attack, the two of them became more cautious. Since there was a gold battle wolf, there might be a black gold battle wolf, a platinum battle wolf, or even a diamond battle wolf. In order to reach the path of ingress safely, the two of them were extremely careful. Even if they encountered demonic beasts with low cultivation, they would choose to take a detour. After all, no one knew if there were more powerful demonic beasts behind those low-level demonic beasts. The less trouble, the better. It was best not to cause trouble if he could. This was what Jinhua and Immortal Snake Fiend were thinking. Whoosh! Ningyu, Zhao Rui, and Jinhua had encountered the same problem as Immortal Devil Snake. However, unlike Jinhua and the demonic Snake Immortal, the golden battle wolf Ningyu and the others encountered wasn't ownerless. It had an owner. To be precise, there was a middle-aged man on the back of the golden battle wolf that Ningyu and the others encountered. Ningyu and the others had solemn expressions. This was because the middle-aged man's cultivation was at the peak late-stage Heaven Immortal realm. According to Ningyu's observation, this middle-aged man's strength should be on par with the demonic Snake Immortal. Whoosh! Moreover, the void behind the middle-aged man suddenly split open, and a group of over a dozen martial artists appeared. Late-stage Heaven Immortal realm. These martial artist cultivation was all at the late stage, heaven, immortal realm. I didn't expect someone to arrive here before us. The middle-aged man's gaze swept across the huge bronze door in the distance, and then fell on Ningyu and Zhao Rui. He said faintly, "It's your luck to meet me. I'll give you a chance to live." At this point, the middle-aged man paused for a moment, then pointed at the bronze door and continued, "If you can break the bronze door, I can spare your lives. Otherwise, I can only apologize to you." Whoosh! Hearing the middle-aged man's words, Ningyu's face instantly turned gloomy. Just now, Zhao Rui had already told him that the bronze door was the entrance to the path to heaven. If they wanted to enter the path to heaven, they had to break the bronze door. At the same time, Zhao Rui also said that the bronze door's defense was very strong. It was impossible to break it with just a few of them. Only the joint efforts of the experts from the path of ingress could break it open. There is only one consequence of trying to break the bronze door rashly, and that was being killed by the backlash. Why, you guys are not willing. Ningyu and Zhao Rui's faces fell into the middle-aged man's eyes, and his face instantly turned gloomy. Since you guys are not willing, then go to hell. The moment the word go fell, two martial artists suddenly jumped out from behind the middle-aged man. Whoosh! Whoosh! Two late-stage heaven immortal realm martial artists. One rushed towards Ningyu, and the other rushed towards Zhao Rui. He, really stubborn. Yes, they don't even listen to Lord Ming Ri's words. They are purely seeking death. Lord Ming Ri is an elder of the Great River sect. If you offend him, you are doomed to have a bad time. The last person who offended Lord Ming Ri had his head twisted off by Lord Ming Ri. More than a dozen martial artists behind Ming Ri looked at Ningyu and Zhao Rui as if they were looking at dead people. These people all came from the Fog Spirit Realm. Ming Ri unified the Fog Spirit Realm and came here with many late-stage Heaven Immortal Realm martial artists who descended from the high-level planes. Ming Ri naturally knew that Ningyu and Zhao Rui could not break the bronze door alone, but he still wanted to let Ningyu and Zhao Rui try to break the bronze door. Because when Ningyu and Zhao Rui saw him, they did not show the respect they should have. Immortal Hongling. Looking at the two late-stage Heaven Immortal Realm martial artists who were approaching him, Ningyu glanced at Immortal Hongling next to him and said lightly, "Kill them." Ningyu was aware of Immortal Hongling's strength. Although compared with Jin Hua and Demonic Snake Immortal, it should not be much of a problem to deal with the two late-stage Heaven Immortal Realm martial artists in front of him. Understood. Immortal Hongling nodded, then moved her feet and stood in front of Ningyu. Immortal Hongling's meaning was very clear. She wanted to block the two late-stage Heaven Immortal Realm martial artists for Ningyu. Humph! What a waste, letting a woman help you. Seeing Immortal Hongling standing in front of Ningyu, the two late-stage Heaven Immortal Realm martial artists snorted at the same time, showing a disdainful look. Ningyu shrugged his shoulders in response to the taunts of these two late-stage Heaven Immortal Realm martial artists, indicating that he did not care. It did not matter if it was a black cat or a white cat. As long as it could catch mice, it was a good cat. Besides, Ningyu did not need to do it himself to deal with two late-stage Heaven Immortal Realm martial artists. Chapter 2050. Rumble. In the blink of an eye, Immortal Hongling was engaged in a fierce battle with the two late Heaven Immortals. Did I see it wrong? Ningyu frowned slightly as he watched the battle between Immortal Hongling and the two late Heaven Immortals, feeling a little puzzled. There were two reasons why Ningyu didn't kill Immortal Hongling. Firstly, it was because Immortal Hongling knew more. Secondly, he felt that Immortal Hongling had some unspeakable secrets. As for what it meant, Ningyu didn't know for the time being. This person is not simple. At this moment, Zhao Rui's voice suddenly rang in Ningyu's ears. Hearing this, Ningyu was stunned at first. Then he whispered, "Did you see anything?" Zhao Rui shook her head and said, "When she attacked just now, I felt an extremely terrifying aura from her body. If I'm not wrong, that aura should be at least a false profound immortal law." False profound immortal law? Ningyu's face turned solemn. But soon, Ningyu felt relieved. No matter what secrets immortal Hongling had, in the face of absolute power, all plots and schemes were exposed. Anyway, Zhao Rui could help him deal with the trouble in front of him, and that was enough. Pucci, Pucci. As it turned out, Ningyu didn't misjudge immortal Hongling. Even though the two late heaven immortals attacked with all their might, they still couldn't cause any harm to immortal Hongling. On the contrary, these two late-stage heaven immortals were careless and were hit in the chest by immortal Hongling. Their bodies flew several feet away, and they spat out a mouthful of dark red blood. Their faces turned ghastly pale. Seeing that immortal Hongling had easily defeated the two late heaven immortals, Ming Ri raised his eyebrows and stared at immortal Hongling with interest, saying, "Not bad. Your strength is a little beyond my expectation. Come here and listen to my command, and I can spare your life." Die. Immortal Hongling didn't seem to hear Ming Ri's words. She chased after him and kicked him twice. Bang! Bang! Immortal Hongling's two kicks landed precisely on the heads of the two late-stage heaven immortals. In an instant, the heads of the two late heaven immortal experts exploded. Whoosh! The death of the two late heaven immortal experts made the faces of the experts behind Ming Ri darken. Even Ming Ri's face was ashen. The reason why the martial artist behind Ming Ri had gloomy expressions was because the strength that immortal Hongling had displayed could easily crush them. Ming Ri's face was livid because he felt that he had lost face. A slap in the face. Immortal Hongling didn't listen to his advice, which was a blatant slap to his face. "You're courting death." Ming Ri was furious. He suddenly exerted strength in his legs. Suddenly, the golden wolf under him roared and rushed out. Roar! Then, Ming Ri and the gold battle wolf rushed toward immortal Hongling together. Looking at the nether sun and the golden battle wolf that were constantly rushing towards her, immortal Hongling's eyes did not show the slightest hint of panic. She turned to look at Ningyu and said, "I'm not his match. Come back." Ningyu waved his hand at immortal Hongling and said, "Leave him to me for the time being. Your task is to delay the rest of the martial artists." As his voice fell, Ningyu's mind flickered, and he took out the red demon sword and the origin-creating divine staff. Ming Ri was not an ordinary late heaven immortal expert. His strength was comparable to Jin Hua and the devil snake immortal. Ningyu did not dare to be careless when fighting against Ming Ri. If it wasn't for Zhao Rui's help, Ningyu would have even used a Xian immortal law. Okay, immortal Hongling didn't argue with Ningyu. Her figure flashed and rushed into the crowd. "Let's go together. No matter how strong she is, she's only one." That's right. With so many of us joining forces, we can even compete with a peak late heaven immortal expert. Kill, kill, kill. Let her know the power of our mist spirit realm. The many late heaven immortal experts that Ming Ri brought with him all roared angrily. As the saying goes, 3 people make a tiger. If immortal Hongling had helpers, they naturally wouldn't dare to be presumptuous. The key was that immortal Hongling's helpers, Ningyu and Zhao Rui, were fighting with Ming Ri. As for the five-finger immortal, his cultivation was only at the early heaven immortal stage, so there was nothing to worry about. Under such circumstances, they were naturally full of confidence and chose to fight head-on with immortal Hongling. Alive or dead, although she was fighting with Ming Ri, Zhao Rui still took a break from the busy work and talked with Ningyu. Dead or alive? Ningyu thought for a moment and then said. Ningyu was very clear. With his and Zhao Rui's combined strength, if they used all their trump cards, they could naturally kill Ming Ri. After all, he still had a Xian immortal law, and Zhao Rui should also have a pseudo-Xian immortal law. However, Ming Ri was very strong. Capturing him alive would consume too many trump cards, and he might even be in a weakened state. This was the entrance to the path to heaven. Who knew how long it would take for experts from other lower planes to appear? Therefore, under this premise, it was better not to expose trump cards as much as possible. Arrogant. Ming Ri was so angry that his nose was crooked. He and the golden battle wolf had attacked together, thinking that they would be able to get rid of Ningyu and Zhao Rui easily. Who would have thought that not only would they not be able to harm Ningyu and Zhao Rui, but they would also be at an absolute disadvantage. Moreover, Ningyu and Zhao Rui were still openly discussing whether to capture him alive or dead. Gold Battle Wolf, go berserk! Ming Ri took a deep breath, immediately took out a jade bottle from his arms, and threw it into the mouth of the Gold Battle Wolf. Roar! Roar! The Gold Battle Wolf roared twice to the sky, and then its body gradually grew bigger. Not good. Don't let it go berserk. Ningyu's face changed dramatically. Although he and Zhao Rui could still deal with the Gold Battle Wolf after it went berserk, at that time, they would have to use their trump cards. Ningyu didn't want to use his trump card too early, so he had to stop the Gold Battle Wolf from going berserk. Do I really have to use the Shin Immortal Law? Ningyu's face was very ugly. If it was not a last resort, he really didn't want to use the Shin Immortal Law. I'll stop Ming Ri, you go stop the Gold Battle Wolf from going berserk. At this moment, Zhao Rui's voice suddenly sounded in Ningyu's ear. Hearing this, Ningyu was stunned at first, then holding the red demon sword and the origin creating divine staff, he rushed out at top speed. Since Zhao Rui said that she could block Ming Ri's attack, then she definitely could. However, Ningyu knew that time was tight. If Zhao Rui did not use her trump card, she would not be able to stop Ming Ri for too long. In other words, the time left for him could only be 3 minutes at most. Within 3 minutes, he not only had to stop the Gold Battle Wolf from going berserk, but he also had to kill it. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Roar! Chapter 2051. Sizzle. The Gold Battle Wolf's tail was so fast that it made a sizzling sound as it rubbed against the air. The huge tail arrived in front of Ningyu in a flash. Humph! You asked for it. Looking at the tail that was close at hand, Ningyu snorted coldly and immediately slashed down with the red demon sword in his hand. Crack! A crisp sound rang out. Then, the Gold Battle Wolf scurried back and forth in the air, letting out a hysterical roar. Roar! The Gold Battle Wolf was very regretful, because its tail was directly cut off by the red demon sword in Ningyu's hand. The red demon sword's current level had reached the terrifying late-stage heavenly treasure. Although the Gold Battle Wolf's cultivation was also at the late-stage heaven immortal level, it was difficult for its tail to resist the attack of the red demon sword. Good opportunity! Seeing that the Gold Battle Wolf had lost its mind, Ningyu chased after it and slammed the origin creating divine staff in his hand. The red demon sword was used to cut off the Gold Battle Wolf's tail, and the origin creating divine staff was naturally used to kill the Gold Battle Wolf. Oh no! On the other side of the battlefield, although Ming Ri was fighting with Zhao Rui, part of his attention was on the Gold Battle Wolf. Especially after seeing the Gold Battle Wolf's tail being cut off, Ming Ri's expression changed drastically, and he hurried over to help. Ming Ri knew better than anyone else. The Gold Battle Wolf was indeed very powerful after going berserk, but its body was very fragile during the few seconds it went berserk. In other words, once Ningyu seized these few seconds to launch a strong attack, the Gold Battle Wolf was likely to suffer a grievance. Damn it! Why did it attack Ningyu with its tail like an idiot? Ming Ri couldn't help but curse. The Gold Battle Wolf's tail played a role in balance. Moreover, relying on its tail, the Gold Battle Wolf's strength could be increased by 20%. Now that its tail was cut off, it meant that the Gold Battle Wolf's strength would drop by about 20%. Originally, the Gold Battle Wolf's body was very fragile during the few seconds it went berserk. Now that it had lost its tail, it was difficult for it to resist Ningyu's attack. Therefore, Ming Ri wanted to force Zhao Rui to retreat and help the Gold Battle Wolf. Hee, your opponent is me. How could Zhao Rui give Ming Ri a chance? Zhao Rui smiled faintly and then launched a storm-like attack. Gotcha! Ningyu glanced at the battlefield of Zhao Rui and Ming Ri, and then smashed the origin creating divine staff in his hand. A crisp cracking sound was heard. Then, the Gold Battle Wolf fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. Bang! His body hit the ground, sending up a cloud of dust. At this moment, the gold combat wolf that was at the advanced stage of the heaven immortal realm died on the spot. What? This is impossible. How could Lord Golden Battle Wolf be killed? It's over, it's over. Even Lord Gold Combat Wolf was killed. We won't be killed as well, right? Humph. Why are you panicking? Lord Ming Ri will avenge the Golden Battle Wolf. The tragic death of the Gold Battle Wolf caused the expressions of the many cultivators fighting with immortal Hongling to change drastically. A brief moment of panic appeared. It was this brief moment of panic that gave immortal Hongling a chance. Immortal Hongling attacked aggressively and instantly killed 4 or 5 warriors at the advanced stage of the Heaven Immortal Realm, greatly reducing the pressure on her. Buzz. As soon as Ning Yu killed the Gold Battle Wolf, the Origin creating divine staff in his hand made a buzzing sound. Then, it rushed out and rushed toward the Gold Battle Wolf. Huh. The action of the Origin creating divine staff made Ning Yu look puzzled. But soon, Ning Yu understood. The Origin creating divine staff was not for anything else but to devour the inner elixir of the Gold Battle Wolf. The inner elixir of a demon beast at the advanced stage of the Heaven Immortal Realm contained a lot of energy. Swish! The Origin creating divine staff devoured the inner elixir very quickly. Almost in an instant, it devoured the inner elixir of the Gold Battle Wolf. Even the Origin creating divine staff did not let go of the Gold Battle Wolf's body and directly devoured it. After devouring the Gold Battle Wolf, the Origin creating divine staff instantly returned to Ning Yu's hand. 35%. Feeling the terrifying energy contained in the Origin creating divine staff, Ning Yu's eyes widened and revealed a look of disbelief. 35%. At this time, the Origin creating divine staff could already exert 35% of its power. 30% of the power of the Origin creating divine staff allowed Ning Yu to compete with the advanced stage Heaven Immortal Realm warriors. 35% of the power of the Origin creating divine staff allowed Ning Yu to directly compete with the veteran advanced stage Heaven Immortal Realm warriors. Although Ning Yu could not compete with Ming Ri by relying on the Origin creating divine staff, with the help of the Red Devil Sword, Ning Yu could completely fight with Ming Ri alone and not be at a disadvantage. Let me help you. Ning Yu grabbed the Red Devil Sword in his left hand and the Origin creating divine staff in his right hand. In a flash, he joined the battlefield on the other side. Sure enough, you didn't let me down. Seeing that Ning Yu had successfully killed the Gold Battle Wolf, Zhao Rui nodded with satisfaction and said, I can feel that the demonic snake immortal and Jinhua are coming. We must kill Ming Ri before they come. Understood. Ning Yu did not doubt Zhao Rui's words, because Zhao Rui and Jinhua were both from the Central Divine Dynasty. It was not surprising that they knew each other's location. I want you to die. Ming Ri was furious. The Gold Battle Wolf had followed him to the north and the south, and had experienced hundreds of battles, big and small. Several times, it was the Gold Battle Wolf who stepped forward bravely. Otherwise, he would have been killed long ago. Such a good companion was not only killed by Ning Yu, but also devoured into flesh and skin. How could Ming Ri not be angry? You'd better save that sentence for yourself. Before, Ning Yu was not afraid of Ming Ri, let alone after his strength had increased. The 35% power of the Origin creating divine staff had improved Ning Yu's strength a lot. Rumble. In an instant, Ming Ri and Ning Yu were engaged in a fierce battle. Compared to the last time they fought, both sides used some of their hidden trump cards this time. However, no one used the mysterious immortal laws. After all, the mysterious immortal laws were too terrifying. Even with their strength, it was impossible to use them twice in a short time. This is bad. As time went by, Zhao Rui's face became more and more unsightly. It was not because they were at a disadvantage, but because she felt a terrible aura from Ming Ri. There was no doubt that this aura was the aura of the mysterious immortal laws. Zhao Rui was very sensitive to the mysterious immortal laws. If it weren't for the Origin creating divine staff on Ning Yu, which could hide the aura of the mysterious immortal laws, Zhao Rui would have discovered it long ago. Back off. Zhao Rui clenched her fists and forced Ming Ri back with a punch. Swish! Swish! As soon as Zhao Rui forced Ming Ri back, two figures rushed over from a distance. Not good. Seeing the two figures suddenly appearing, not only Ning Yu's face darkened, but even Ming Ri's face was livid, and he wanted to run away immediately. Chapter 2052. They can't be their helpers, can they? Ming Ri floated in the air, looking at the two figures flying rapidly, and then at the expressions of Zhao Rui and Ning Yu. He could not help but mutter to himself. If these two warriors were the helpers of Ning Yu and Zhao Rui, then it was no exaggeration to say that even if he used the Xian immortal law, he would still be killed. If these two warriors were not the helpers of Ning Yu and Zhao Rui, then he still had a chance to survive. He could even join forces with these two warriors to deal with Ning Yu and Zhao Rui. So the key to everything was the relationship between these two warriors and Ning Yu and Zhao Rui. Clatter. The appearance of the two warriors separated Immortal Hongling and the Fog Spirit Realm warrior instantly. The Fog Spirit Realm warrior retreated behind Ming Ri, while Immortal Hongling retreated to Ning Yu's side. It's really you. Ning Yu's face was also very ugly. The reason was that the two warriors who suddenly appeared were Jin Hua and Demonic Snake Immortal. But what made Ning Yu a little relieved was that at this time, Jin Hua and Demonic Snake Immortal's aura were not in their peak state, as if they had just experienced a great battle. Long time no see. After Jin Hua landed, he directly said to Ning Yu, "I didn't expect you to be so fast. You actually came here a long time before us." Swish! Hearing Jin Hua's words, Ming Ri's face instantly became gloomy. What he was afraid of really happened. What he was most worried about was that the sudden appearance of these two warriors had something to do with Ning Yu and the others. Now it seemed that Jin Hua and the others really had something to do with Ning Yu. Ming Ri's eyes turned. At this time, he had a faint impulse to leave. Although it was difficult to have a chance to enter the path to heaven if he left, it was better than staying and dying. However, just as Ming Ri was about to leave, he stopped, because he heard something unusual from Jin Hua's words. Jin Hua turned to look at Zhao Rui and said faintly, "The entrance of the path to heaven is right in front. I suggest that those who haven't reached the late heaven immortal realm should scram as soon as possible." Interesting. The corner of Ming Ri's mouth involuntarily raised into an arc. Since Jin Hua and Ning Yu had a grudge against each other, there was no need for him to leave. As the saying goes, the enemy of an enemy is a friend. It was not impossible for him to become friends with Jin Hua, and they could even become close friends. Idiot! Ning Yu knew that Jin Hua's words were directed at him, so he rolled his eyes and said, "Some people really think they're infallible. Do they think that they can do whatever they want just because they're in the late heaven immortal stage? You're courting death." Jin Hua stomped his feet on the ground and suddenly rushed out. Originally, Jin Hua did not intend to attack Ning Yu, but when he saw the kind eyes of Ming Ri, he instantly changed his mind and decided to teach Ning Yu a lesson. Anyway, with Ming Ri's help, he did not care at all that Zhao Rui would come forward to help Ning Yu. But what Jin Hua did not expect was that Zhao Rui not only did not choose to help Ning Yu, but also crossed her arms in front of her chest and looked at him with interest. Is there a trick? Jin Hua's heart shuddered, feeling a little uneasy. In fact, it was no wonder that Jin Hua would have such an expression. One must know that when he first launched an attack on Ning Yu, Zhao Rui's expression was very ugly, and she even stopped him. But now, Zhao Rui actually had such an expression. He suddenly felt that there was a problem. Zhao Rui was not very clear about Jin Hua's thoughts. However, if Zhao Rui knew what Jin Hua was thinking in his heart, she would definitely laugh it off. After the power of the Origin Creating Divine Staff was increased to 35%, Ning Yu's strength had been improved qualitatively. Even if he didn't use his trump card, even without her help, Ning Yu could easily deal with Jin Hua. Of course, this was under the premise that Jin Hua did not go crazy. Once Jin Hua went crazy, it would be difficult for Ning Yu to cause substantial harm to Jin Hua. No, I can't give him a chance to take advantage of me. Thinking of this, Jinhua hurriedly stopped, looked at Ningyu coldly, and said fiercely, "What powerful moves do you have? Show them all." Jinhua's sudden move made Ningyu a little confused. From beginning to end, he had been standing in the same place and did nothing. Had Jinhua lost his mind? Or perhaps Jinhua had lost his mind? "Friend, can I have a word with you?" At this moment, Ming Ri's words rang in Jinhua's ears. Hearing Ming Ri's words, Jinhua was stunned at first. Then he glared at Ningyu fiercely, turned around, and walked towards Ming Ri. Demonic Snake Immortal thought about it, and also left behind Jinhua. The three of them are going to join forces. Looking at Jinhua and Demonic Snake Immortal, who were constantly moving, Zhao Rui's face was a little unsightly. "Aren't you and Jinhua both from the Central Divine Dynasty?" "Don't worry, Jinhua won't attack you," Ningyu said doubtfully. Zhao Rui rolled her eyes and ignored Ningyu. Although she and Jinhua were both from the Central Divine Dynasty, with her keen perception, she still felt a murderous aura from Jinhua. Even though Jinhua had hidden this murderous aura, Zhao Rui still found some clues. "Ningyu, why don't we make a bet?" Suddenly, Jinhua's voice rang out in the area. Ningyu frowned and asked, "What do you want to bet?" "It's very simple. You and I will fight. If you can block one of my moves, I will give it to you." As he spoke, Jinhua took out a jade bottle from his pocket, raised it to the top of his head, and waved it. The core of a gold battle wolf. Inside the jade bottle was the core of a gold battle wolf that Jinhua had obtained before. Jinhua didn't swallow or refine a single bit of it. He put all of it in the jade bottle. "Why should I block one of your moves?" Ningyu asked in a flat tone. "Stand where you are and take a punch from me. As long as you don't move more than 30 feet, you win." Jinhua's mouth curved into a smile as he said lightly, "On the other hand, even if you lose, I won't ask you for the core of the gold battle wolf. I just need you to give me the origin creating divine stick." Jinhua turned his attention to the origin creating divine stick. "A mere core of a gold battle wolf and a half is not worthy of me taking out the origin creating divine stick as a bet." Ningyu shrugged and said disdainfully, "Then what do you think we should do?" Seeing that Ningyu had been fooled, Jinhua hurriedly said, "At the very least, we need 3. Ningyu stretched out 3 fingers and said, according to Ningyu's estimation, if he had 3 more gold battle wolf inner cores, he could let the origin creating divine stick unleash 40% or even 45% of its power. The origin creating divine stick with 45% power was enough for him to fight against a peak late-stage heaven immortal. "All right, 3 it is." Before Jinhua could speak, Immortal Fiend Snake, who was beside him, took a step forward and took out a jade bottle. The jade bottle in Immortal Fiend Snake's hand also contained a core of a gold battle wolf and a half. "Is that okay now?" Chapter 2053. That being said, I still don't think it's appropriate. Ningyu looked at the jade bottle in Jinhua's hand and shrugged. Swish! Seeing Ningyu's action, Jinhua's face instantly darkened. "Do you want to go back on your word?" Jinhua looked at Ningyu coldly and said in a deep voice, "If you don't dare, say it earlier. Don't embarrass yourself here." "I think you've misunderstood." Ningyu waved his hand and said, "It's not that I don't dare, but I don't trust you." "What do you mean?" Jinhua said coldly. "Well, I can make a bet with you, but you have to give Zhao Rui the 3 inner cores of the golden battle wolf for safekeeping," Ningyu said, glancing at Zhao Rui. "No problem." Jinhua thought for a while and agreed to Ningyu's request. After all, he and Zhao Rui were both peerless geniuses of the Central Divine Dynasty. Before he and Zhao Rui fell out, it was more appropriate for Zhao Rui to be the middleman. However, Jinhua also made a request. He asked Ningyu to give the Origin Divine Staff to Zhao Rui for safekeeping. Jinhua's explanation was straightforward. Since it was a bet, they should all be put together. Ningyu didn't care about giving the Origin Divine Staff to Zhao Rui. The bet between him and Jinhua was not about using magic treasures to fight, but their fists, relying purely on primordial qi and physical strength. Although Ningyu's cultivation was much lower than Jinhua's, Ningyu didn't think he would lose, because he didn't intend to stand there and take Jinhua's punch. He wanted Jinhua to stand there and take his punch. You'd better hope that I don't kill you with one punch. After giving the 3 inner cores of the Golden Battle Wolf to Zhao Rui, Jinhua glared at Ningyu. Immediately, all the immortal qi in his body rushed out and gathered on his fist. Wait. Seeing Jinhua's feet on the ground, about to rush out, Ningyu hurriedly said, I have something I'm very confused about, and I want you to explain it to me. Swish. Hearing Ningyu's words, Jinhua instantly stopped in place, clenching his fists. At this time, Jinhua was extremely angry. What the hell do you want? Jinhua was shocked. It took him a lot of effort to trick Ningyu into betting with him. Could it be that Ningyu had seen through his scheme? Jinhua could be said to have a well-thought-out plan for this bet. The reason was that just now, Demonic Snake Immortal and Ming Ri had injected some immortal qi into his body. With his own strength, he might not be able to push Ningyu back 10 meters. But with the addition of Devil Snake Immortal and Ming Ri, even if Ningyu had advanced to the early Heaven Immortal realm, he would definitely be pushed back several meters. Therefore, in Jinhua's opinion, as long as he could trick Ningyu into betting with him, he would definitely win the Origin Creating Divine Staff. What I want to say is, since it's a bet, why do I have to stand in place and take a punch from you, instead of you standing in place and taking a punch from me? Are you afraid? Ningyu asked. How can I be afraid? Jinhua said fiercely. Since you are so arrogant, I will let you die in peace today. Come on, I will stand in place and take a punch from you. While talking, Jinhua took a step forward and made a posture of letting Ningyu attack. Jinhua's action made Demonic Snake Immortal and Ming Ri on the other side change slightly. Will there be any changes? Ming Ri frowned slightly. For some reason, he always felt that something would happen. After all, he had just fought with Ningyu and knew Ningyu's strength. In addition, he did not know Jinhua's specific strength, so it was inevitable that he would be a little worried. You don't have to worry at all, Demonic Snake Immortal said with an indifferent expression. Ming Ri did not know how strong Jinhua was, but Demonic Snake Immortal was very clear. Even if Ningyu used his full strength, it was absolutely impossible to hurt Jinhua. I hope so. Ming Ri took a deep breath and said, Red Devil, Human Devil, Dark Emperor, Ning Lu, 8-legged monster, the few of you don't need a rest. Quickly inject the immortal qi in your body into my body. Ningyu took a few steps back, and then his body, like a sharp sword, rushed straight out. In the process of rushing out, Ningyu not only injected the immortal qi in his body into his wrist, but also communicated with everyone in the storage ring. In any case, as long as Jinhua could be repelled 3 feet away, Ningyu did not care how Jinhua was repelled. Buzz! Buzz! Human Devil and the others did not have any hesitation. After hearing Ningyu's words, they immediately extracted the immortal qi in their body, using the storage ring as a medium, and transferred it to Ningyu's fist. What? Feeling the terrifying energy contained in Ningyu's fist, Jinhua's eyes widened, his face filled with disbelief. He was sure that with Ningyu's strength, there was absolutely no way he could have so much energy in his body. You cheated, Jinhua shouted, wanting to stop Ningyu. Bang! However, Jinhua's shout was only halfway through when it came to an abrupt stop. His body was like a kite with a broken string flying backward. The sound of flesh hitting the ground rang out. Poochie! Jinhua crawled up from the ground with difficulty, spurting out a large mouthful of red blood. You. Jinhua raised his right hand and pointed at Ningyu. He even stuttered, You dare to cheat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, you retreated a total of 10 feet. You lost our first bet. Ningyu stretched out his hand and counted, then said, I lost the bet. The 3 golden battle wolf cores are mine. As he spoke, Ningyu's figure flashed, and he came to Zhao Rui's side, taking the jade bottle from her hand. Swoosh! Almost at the instant Ningyu took the jade bottle, a terrifying, devouring power shot out from the origin, creating divine rod, sucking in the 3 golden battle wolf cores. What the F***CK? The sudden change made Ningyu unable to help but curse. Although his original intention was to give the 3 golden battle wolf cores to the origin creating divine rod, the origin creating divine rod made him a little angry. Buzz. However, when Ningyu saw the change in the origin creating divine rod, he was somewhat excited. 45%. After devouring the 3 golden battle wolf cores, the origin creating divine rod could already exert 45% of its power. With the origin creating divine rod at 45% power, Ningyu could easily deal with a peak late-stage Heaven Immortal Warrior. Now, Ningyu had a total of 3 trump cards. With his own strength, he could compete with a middle-stage Heaven Immortal Warrior. With the Red Demon Sword, he could compete with a beginner late-stage Heaven Immortal Warrior and even kill him. With the origin creating divine rod, he could easily deal with a peak late-stage Heaven Immortal Warrior and even kill him. As for the Shin Immortal Law, once he used it, no one could compete with him unless he encountered a true peak Heaven Immortal expert. Return my golden battle wolf cores. Chapter 2054. I'm willing to admit defeat. Wouldn't I lose face if I returned the inner core of the golden battle wolf to you just because you said a few words? Ningyu looked at Jin Hua as though he was looking at an idiot and said calmly, "You cheated. Otherwise, there's no way you could beat me." Jin Hua was so angry that his nose was crooked. In fact, at that moment, he had a chance to block Ningyu's fist. However, he had a fluke mentality in his heart. In addition, he did not want to use the immortal chi given to him by Fiend Snake Immortal and Ming Ri, which led to him being blasted 10 feet away by Ningyu. Where's the inner core of the golden battle wolf? I've already swallowed and refined it. Just give up. Ningyu waved the essence creating divine staff in his hand and said, "As for the essence creating divine staff, it's still in my hands. If you want it, you can bet with me again." "All right, I'll bet with you," Jin Hua said fiercely. "Just now I stood on the spot and took your punch. Now you stand on the spot and take my punch. If I win, you have to give me the essence creating divine staff." Ningyu nodded. "Of course. Take my punch." Seeing that Ningyu had agreed, Jin Hua rushed out quickly. His right fist contained a terrifying energy wave. It could be seen that Jin Hua's punch was very powerful. Wait, what are you doing?" Ningyu hurriedly jumped behind Zhao Rui and said doubtfully, "Since we're betting again, there must be a new stake." Swish! Jin Hua stopped instantly. Due to anger, Jin Hua's teeth were chattering, making a gurgling sound. "What do you want to bet?" Jin Hua suppressed his anger and said coldly, "In the first bet, my essence-creating divine staff was worth 3 inner cores of the golden battle wolf. So, this time, I need at least 10 inner cores of the golden battle wolf." Ningyu demanded an exorbitant price and directly asked for 10 golden battle wolf beast cores. In fact, Ningyu knew that after taking out 3 inner cores of the golden battle wolf, Jin Hua and Fiend Snake Immortal would never have 10 inner cores of the golden battle wolf. He said this because he didn't want to use the essence creating divine staff as a stake. After all, the power of the origin creating divine staff could be exerted by 45%. With the help of the origin creating divine staff, he could kill either Jin Hua or Ming Ri. If he could use it to force Ming Ri, he could kill him with the essence creating divine staff. Creating divine staff? Jin Hua widened his eyes and said coldly, "I don't have 10 golden battle wolf cores, but I do have a peak stage heavenly treasure flying sword. In Jin to it." In order to win the origin creation divine staff, Jin Hua had sacrificed a lot and even used the condensed jade sword as a bet. Since you're using this flying sword as a wager, I'll have to change my wager as well. Yang of to say Xing. Yang using Hua to say. Hua creating. Yang no at Hua. Yang. How could Jin Hua ask Ningyu to change the stakes? He refused directly. He only wanted the essence creating divine staff. I have made it very clear. 10 inner cores of the golden battle wolf. As long as you can take out 10 inner cores of the golden battle wolf, I will use the essence creating divine staff as a stake. Otherwise, shut up. Ningyu's tone became cold. Even a clay figurine would get angry, let alone him. The reason why he talked to Jin Hua just now was that he wanted to force Ming Ri to take action. Unexpectedly, Jin Hua didn't know what was good for him and insisted on taking action. In this case, Ningyu changed his tone and said coldly, "There is no free lunch in the world. If you want the essence creating divine staff, you have to take out something that matches it." Slap. At this moment, behind Jin Hua, a palm suddenly patted his shoulder. "Let me do it." Ming Ri patted Jin Hua's shoulder and said lightly, "I don't care about the essence creating divine staff. I only care about whether I can kill him." As the word kill fell, a terrifying aura emanated from Ming Ri's body. Huh? Feeling the terrifying aura emanating from Ming Ri, Ningyu raised his eyebrows and faintly felt that something was wrong. Is he going to use the mysterious immortal law? Ningyu's heart skipped a beat. Since Ming Ri could become the leader of the Mist Spirit Realm and make a group of warriors at the late stage of Fairy Immortal Surrender, it showed that he had some skills. If Ming Ri didn't have the mysterious immortal law, Ningyu would be the first to not believe it. "You want to have a life-and-death fight with me?" Ningyu took a deep breath, forced himself to calm down, and said in a deep voice, whether Ming Ri had the mysterious immortal law or not, he had it. In other words, even if Ming Ri used the mysterious immortal law, he would not be afraid. After all, he still had the trump card, the essence creating divine staff. "I don't want to have a life-and-death fight. I just want to exchange 3 moves with you." The corners of Ming Ri's mouth rose, and then he suddenly patted his chest with his right hand. Bang! Accompanied by a crisp sound, a golden cold light shot out from Ming Ri's mouth. Clatter! Seeing the golden cold light that suddenly shot out, not only Ningyu, but even Jin Hua and the others around him were surprised. Mysterious immortal law. This golden cold light was nothing else but the mysterious immortal law. Seeing that Ming Ri had used the mysterious immortal law, Jin Hua and the others' faces all became very ugly. Before entering the path to heaven, it was almost a conventional rule not to use the mysterious immortal law. Now that Ming Ri used the mysterious immortal law, it was somewhat unreasonable. "My stake is the mysterious immortal law. I don't know what your stake is." Ming Ri pointed to the mysterious immortal law suspended in midair and said lightly. Ningyu's face was very ugly. Ming Ri used the mysterious immortal law as a stake, obviously to force him to take out a trump card that was more powerful than the essence creating divine staff. After all, the two sides had to exchange 3 moves, and Ming Ri did not want any accidents. In Ming Ri's view, as long as he could force Ningyu's trump card that was more powerful than the essence creating divine staff, he could easily kill Ningyu within 3 moves. His stake is also the mysterious immortal law. Without waiting for Ningyu to speak, Zhao Rui took a step forward, and a purple cold light shot out of her body. There was no doubt. The purple cold light that shot out of Zhao Rui's body was also the mysterious immortal law. Ka. Looking at the purple mysterious immortal law in midair, Ming Ri clenched his fists tightly, and his face became very ugly. Ming Ri's original intention was to force Ningyu to use his powerful trump card. Now, he had actually forced Zhao Rui to use her trump card. As if seeing Ming Ri's unwillingness, Jin Hua's voice sounded at the right time. "Ningyu, since both of you bet on the mysterious immortal law, then you naturally can't use the mysterious immortal law in the process of fighting." Chapter 2055. No problem. How could Ningyu not know what Jin Hua meant? However, after the origin creating divine staff could exert 45% of its power, even if he did not use the Shin immortal law, he could still compete with Ming Ri and even kill him. After all, he could not use the Shin immortal law, and Ming Ri could not use it. Without the help of the Shin immortal law, Ming Ri was just an ordinary peak late fairy immortal martial artist, and was not as powerful as imagined. The first move, Flying Dragon in the Sky. Seeing that Ningyu agreed, Ming Ri's feet stepped on the ground, and his body rushed out in an instant. Ming Ri's speed was very fast. Moreover, in the process of rushing out, Ming Ri waved his hands repeatedly, and suddenly a black dragon phantom emerged from behind him. So strong. Feeling the terrifying energy contained in the black dragon phantom, Zhao Rui's face became a little ugly. Her idea was similar to that of Ningyu. She thought that Ming Ri, who did not use the Shin Immortal Law, was not strong. But now, Zhao Rui changed her mind. Strong. Ming Ri was very strong. At least at this time, Ming Ri was a little stronger than when he fought with the two of them just now. This time you're still alive. Not only Zhao Rui, but even Jin Hua had an evil smile on his face. At this time, Jin Hua was proud of his wit. In Jin Hua's view, if he hadn't said what he said before, Ningyu was likely to use a powerful trump card, and Ningyu's powerful trump card was very likely to be the Shin Immortal Law. Once Ningyu used the Shin Immortal Law, then he would definitely be able to block Ming Ri's attack. Now that Ningyu could not use the Shin Immortal Law, it meant that it was difficult for Ningyu to block Ming Ri's move. Let's try with the Red Demon's Sword first. Although Ningyu's face was also very dignified, he still chose to use the Red Demon's Sword, and did not want to expose the power of the origin creating Divine Staff too early. Slash! The Red Demon's Sword in his hand waved, and in an instant, a sword light separated from the Red Demon's Sword. Hua! The sword ray, which was as thick as a waist, drew an arc in the air, and then directly collided with the black dragon shadow. Kacha! A crisp sound rang out as the two collided. Then, the sword light and the black dragon shadow both disappeared from the world. Seeing that Ningyu had actually blocked his first move, Ming Ri raised his eyebrows, faintly feeling a little incredulous. One should know that the black dragon shadow that he displayed could even kill a late heavenly immortal expert. Ningyu's cultivation base was not even at the heavenly immortal stage, and yet he could stop the semi-transparent silhouette of a black dragon. This was enough to show how powerful Ningyu was. Taking a deep breath, Ming Ri secretly became cautious. He'd already utilized a move in the agreement of 3 moves, and if he was unable to defeat Ningyu in the next 2 moves, then it was very likely that his mysterious immortal laws would be seized away by Ningyu. Moreover, his goal was not to defeat Ningyu, but to kill Ningyu. Take another move from me, Flying Dragon Dance. Taking a deep breath, Ming Ri immediately poured all the immortal chi in his body into his fist, and then he flew out. Ming Ri's intention was already very clear. He wanted to decide the outcome of the battle with Ningyu in the second move. He's going all out. Looking at Ming Ri, who was constantly approaching him, Ningyu's face was slightly dignified. However, Ningyu did not feel flustered because of this. Instead, he was a little excited. He had been waiting for this moment for a long time. With a thought, the origin creating divine stick appeared in his hand. Let me show you the power of the origin creating divine stick. Ningyu glanced at Jin Hua and the demonic snake immortal next to him, and immediately injected all the immortal chi in his body into the origin creating divine stick. Moreover, in order to defeat and even kill Ming Ri with one move, Ningyu even did not hesitate to empty the immortal chi of the human demon and Ning Lu in his storage ring. When fighting with Jin Hua just now, Ningyu had already extracted most of the immortal chi of the human demon and the others. Now he extracted their immortal chi, which directly caused them to be in a state of weakness. It could be said that at this time, any human immortal realm warrior could easily kill the human demon and Ning Lu. This Ningyu is too arrogant, isn't he? In the Mist Spirit Realm, Lord Ming Ri used the Flying Dragon Wild Dance to kill several late-stage fairy immortal warriors. Ningyu is simply courting death. Congratulations to Lord Ming Ri for winning a mysterious immortal method. What? Many late-stage fairy immortal warriors in the Mist Spirit Realm were talking about it. However, before the last warrior's words fell, his mouth was slightly open, and his face was full of disbelief. Crack! In mid-air, the origin creating divine stick in Ningyu's hand had already touched Ming Ri's fist. Following that, an extremely crisp sound, accompanied by a miserable shriek that sounded like a pig being slaughtered, resounded in the area. The third move, let me do it. How could Ning Yu give Ming-Ri a chance? He held the origin creating divine stick in his hand and chased after Ming-Ri. In an instant, he came to Ming-Ri. Come back. Seeing Ning Yu appear in front of him, Ming-Ri's face changed dramatically, and he hurriedly raised his head and shouted, Buzz! Buzz! As Ming-Ri shouted, the golden Xian immortal law in Zhao Rui's hand suddenly buzzed and trembled. Obviously, Ming-Ri felt that he could not withstand the third move and wanted to recall his Xian immortal law and use it to fight against Ning Yu. Humph! However, how could Zhao Rui give Ming-Ri a chance? As if she had expected that Ming-Ri would do this, Zhao Rui snorted coldly and immediately used her purple Xian immortal law to firmly entangle Ming-Ri's golden Xian immortal law. Judging from the power of the Xian immortal laws of both sides, Zhao Rui's purple Xian immortal law was obviously stronger than Ming-Ri's golden Xian immortal law. After all, Zhao Rui came from the Central Divine Dynasty, while Ming-Ri was just from an ordinary medium-sized territory. What are you two doing? Come and save me. Seeing that he could not recall the golden Xian immortal law in a short time, Ming-Ri hurriedly contacted Jin Hua and Magic Snake Immortal, wanting to ask them to help him. However, at this moment, Jin Hua and Magic Snake Immortal flinched. Although they had joined forces with Ming-Ri, their alliance was only temporary. Once they entered the path to heaven, the alliance between them would inevitably break. Instead of helping Ming-Ri at this time, it was better to give Zhao Rui face and let Ming-Ri fend for himself. Thinking of this, Jin Hua and Magic Snake Immortal looked at each other, and then immediately said to Ming-Ri, There's still one last move between you and Ning Yu. Wait until the last move is over. You. Hearing the indifferent words of Jin Hua and Magic Snake Immortal, Ming-Ri's eyes widened. He could not wait to go up and teach Jin Hua and Magic Snake Immortal a lesson and kill them. But Ming-Ri had not lost his mind at this moment. Chapter 2056. You dare to be distracted while fighting with me. I'm afraid you have lost your mind. Seeing that Ming-Ri was a little stunned, Ning Yu raised the corner of his mouth and then smashed down with the origin creating divine stick in his hand. Chi-chi. At this moment, the void was broken and there was a sizzling sound. Damn it. Looking at the origin creating divine stick that was constantly smashing towards him, Ming-Ri's face was gloomy to the extreme, and he hurriedly reached out to resist. Crack. However, with the strength of Ming-Ri's body, how could he resist the attack of the origin creating divine stick? An extremely crisp sound resounded in this area. Ah! A hysterical scream came out of Ming-Ri's mouth. Puff! Dark red blood spurted out, and Ming-Ri's aura dropped sharply. In a short period of time, Ming-Ri's aura had dropped to the freezing point. At this time, even if an ordinary creation realm martial artist appeared, he could easily kill Ming-Ri. What a pity! Ning Yu could not help but feel a little regretful that the third move did not kill Ming-Ri. His agreement with Ming-Ri was 3 moves. Now that he could not kill Ming-Ri in 3 moves, he naturally would not use the 4th move. It was not that Ning Yu was stupid, but Jin Hua and Demonic Snake Immortal swept together and landed beside Ming-Ri. Ning Yu did not want to fight with Jin Hua and Demonic Snake Immortal at this time, so he chose to stop and let Ming-Ri live. Here you go. Zhao Rui flicked her wrist and threw the golden Xian immortal law to Ning Yu. Zhao Rui did not want to snatch the Xian immortal law that belonged to Ning Yu. Since Ning Yu won the bet with Ming-Ri, the Xian immortal law that Ming-Ri left with her naturally belonged to Ning Yu. Thank you. Ning Yu did not stand on ceremony with Zhao Rui. He took the golden Xian immortal law, directly activated the origin creating divine stick, and threw it inside. Although the origin creating divine stick could devour everything, for some reason, the origin creating divine stick could not devour the Xian immortal law. According to Ning Yu's guess, the essence creation divine rod could only unleash the power of a late-stage heaven immortal for the time being. Once it was able to exert the might of a mysterious immortal, then even if it was a mysterious immortal law, it would still be able to devour it. Moreover, by placing the Xian immortal laws in the essence creation divine rod, not only could he conceal his aura, but he could also use the special properties of the essence creation divine rod to remove the imprint in the Xian immortal laws. Even a fool could guess that Ming Ri must have left a mark in the golden Xian immortal law. If he was unable to remove the mark, then Ning Yu would be unable to control the profound immortal laws. Humph. So what if you obtain my mysterious immortal law? With the help of Jin Hua and demonic snake immortal, Ming Ri's aura recovered a little. Seeing that Ning Yu accepted his golden Xian immortal law, Ming Ri snorted coldly and said fiercely, "My Xian immortal law is mine after all. You can't." What? However, the words in Ming Ri's mouth stopped abruptly, as if he had discovered something frightening. His mouth was slightly open, and his face was full of confusion. Poochie! The next moment, Ming Ri spat out a mouthful of red blood again, and his face became livid. "I'm sorry to disappoint you." Ning Yu raised the essence creation divine rod in his hand and said, "Just now, your Xian immortal law belongs to me now." Kaka! Ming Ri's face was not only livid, but even his teeth were chattering. Fear, anger, loss, all kinds of emotions appeared on Ming Ri's face. Without the golden Xian immortal law, Ming Ri's combat effectiveness was reduced by at least half. It could be said that at this time, Ming Ri had instantly fallen from the top ranks to the middle ranks. Although relying on his own strength, Ming Ri could still easily kill a late-stage fairy immortal martial artist. He would be at a complete disadvantage against experts like Jin Hua and demonic snake immortal. On the other hand, Ning Yu, after swallowing and refining Ming Ri's golden Xian immortal law, his comprehensive strength had a qualitative breakthrough. Previously, with Ning Yu's strength, if he used all his trump cards, no one would be a match for him unless he met a peak heaven immortal expert. Of course, the premise was that the other party had no Xian immortal law. Excluding the Xian immortal law, Ning Yu's comprehensive strength could only compete with a peak fairy immortal martial artist. Although he was strong, he was not the strongest. But now, Ning Yu had a total of 2 Xian immortal laws. Even if he encountered a peak fairy immortal martial artist, he could compete with him. After all, even Jin Hua and demonic snake immortal only had 1 Xian immortal law. Ming Ri, although Ning Yu defeated you, his strength at this time must have been affected. Jin Hua and demonic snake immortal looked at each other and immediately said to Ming Ri, "Why don't the two of us stop Zhao Ruwei and the others for you, and you take the many late-stage fairy immortal experts of Mist Spirit Realm to kill Ning Yu?" Swish! Hearing Jin Hua and demonic snake immortal's words, to be honest, Ming Ri was very tempted. He had just experienced a great battle, and Ning Yu had painstakingly removed the imprint in his Xian immortal law. If nothing unexpected happened, even if Ning Yu was not in his weakest state, he would not be able to exert his peak strength. Perhaps this was the best time to kill Ning Yu. But Ming Ri was worried. If Ning Yu used the Xian immortal law, what should he do? As if he had guessed what Ming Ri was thinking, Jin Hua said in a deep voice, "What are you afraid of? Even if you were at your peak, it would take a lot of effort to activate the Xian immortal law, let alone Ning Yu who is in a weak state." Okay. Jin Hua's persuasion was the last straw that broke the camel's back. Ming Ri nodded heavily and immediately shouted to the late-stage fairy immortal experts behind him, "Let's go together. Whoever can take down Ning Yu's head, I will be responsible for his safety in the path to heaven." Clatter. Ming Ri's promise played a big role. After all, everyone who could come here knew that the competition on the path to heaven was fierce. If they could attach themselves to an expert, they could increase their chances of survival. For Ming Ri's promise, even if everyone knew that the road ahead was very dangerous, they still resolutely rushed out. When I'm sleepy, someone sends me a pillow. Ning Yu twisted his neck. Instead of showing a trace of worry on his face, he was very excited. He was worried about how to unseal the origin creating divine staff and let it exert 50% of its power, and now someone came to die. According to Ning Yu's guess, as long as the origin creating divine staff devoured the experts, including Ming Ri, there would be a 99% chance of exerting 50% of its power. And 50% of the power of the origin creating divine staff was comparable to a Xian immortal law. Once the origin creating divine staff could exert 50% of its power, then Ning Yu would have 3 Xian immortal laws. With 3 Xian immortal laws in the path to heaven, Ning Yu could do whatever he wanted. You're about to die, but you still dare to be stubborn. Chapter 2057. To be honest, Ming Ri was not particularly optimistic about the attack this time, but he had been forced to a dead end. He could only attack desperately and try to kill Ning Yu. As long as he could kill Ning Yu, he could take back the profound, immortal nomological laws. It should be known that without the profound, immortal nomological laws, it was completely difficult to move forward on the path to heaven. Therefore, for the sake of the profound, immortal laws, in order to survive, Ming Ri must attack Ning Yu. Kill. Ning Yu ignored the opposition of the Red Devil and directly threw him into the storage ring. Instead, he held the origin creating divine staff alone and rushed into the crowd. The Red Devil was very clear in his heart. With Ning Yu's current combat effectiveness, this battle would definitely be one-sided. Since it was a one-sided battle, how could he not want to get involved? However, Ning Yu saw through his thoughts and told him to stay in the storage ring obediently. Ning Yu didn't want the fat meat in his mouth to be taken away by the Red Devil. After all, this fat meat was prepared by him for the origin creating divine staff. Puff, puff, puff. In just one encounter, Ning Yu held the origin creating divine staff in his hand and killed 3 heaven immortal late-stage martial artists. Without a doubt, the primordial chi in the bodies of these 3 heaven immortal late-stage martial artists were all devoured by the origin creating divine staff. After devouring 3 heaven immortal late-stage martial artists, the power that the origin creating divine staff could exert had been enhanced a little. If the battle continued for a long time, Ning Yu could easily kill all the martial artists, including Ming Ri. What a waste! Jinhua's attention was fixed on Zhao Rui while paying attention to the battlefield on Ming Ri's side. When he saw that Ming Ri and the others were at a disadvantage, Jinhua couldn't help but curse. However, cursing aside, Jinhua's eyes turned, secretly thinking of countermeasures. Jinhua was very clear. Ming Ri couldn't be killed. At least, Ming Ri couldn't be killed now. He still had a use for Ming Ri. I have to find a way to help Ming Ri. Jinhua quietly transmitted his voice to Snake Immortal. I am responsible for stopping Zhao Rui. You go and help Ming Ri secretly. Don't let Ning Yu kill Ming Ri. If it doesn't work, you can capture Ning Yu's friends. A friend of Ning Yu? Immortal Fiend Snake glanced at Immortal Hongling and Immortal Five Fingers, then nodded thoughtfully. At this time, Immortal Devil Snake agreed with Jinhua. Although Ming Ri didn't have the Xian Immortal Law, his body was still there, and his body was very hard. Be it Jinhua or Fiend Snake Immortal, both of them wanted a peak late-stage Sky Immortal body that was just a step away from peak Sky Immortal. Whoosh! Immortal Snake was not an indecisive person. She made a prompt decision and dashed toward Immortal Hongling with her walking stick in her hand. The reason why Immortal Devil Snake chose Immortal Hongling instead of Immortal Five Fingers was because, in her opinion, Immortal Hongling had the closest relationship with Ning Yu. If she attacked Immortal Hongling, it would make Ning Yu hesitate and panic a little. And Ning Yu's panic would give Ming Ri enough opportunities. Good idea. In fact, as soon as Immortal Devil Snake made her move, Ning Yu noticed it. However, even if Immortal Devil Snake launched a powerful attack on Immortal Hongling, Ning Yu remained indifferent. There was no other reason. Ning Yu was worried that he couldn't force Immortal Hongling to use her trump card. At this time, Immortal Devil Snake launched an attack on Immortal Hongling, which saved him a lot of trouble. So troublesome. Immortal Hongling looked at Immortal Devil Snake, who kept rushing toward her, and her face instantly turned cold. With both feet on the ground, Immortal Hongling didn't retreat, but instead advanced toward Immortal Devil Snake, wanting to fight head-on with him. Immortal Hongling's actions left Immortal Fiend Snake scratching his head in confusion. She really couldn't understand where Immortal Hongling had gotten the courage to attack her. Has she lost her mind? Immortal Devil Snake frowned slightly, feeling that Immortal Hongling had most likely lost her mind. I'm Immortal Hongling. However, Immortal Devil Snake soon realized that she was wrong, and very wrong. Immortal Hongling wasn't crazy, but she really had the strength to fight her. Swoosh! A cold black light suddenly shot out from Immortal Hongling's body and attacked her at an extremely terrifying speed. Mysterious Immortal Law. This black cold light was a genuine mysterious immortal law. Who are you? Why do you have mysterious immortal law? Immortal Devil Snake's face instantly turned ugly. If she didn't know about the enmity between Jinhua and Ningyu, she would even suspect that Jinhua and Ningyu were working together. Go! Since Immortal Hongling had used her mysterious immortal law, Immortal Devil Snake had no choice but to use his own. Swoosh! Immortal Devil Snake's mysterious immortal law was blue. Chi! Two mysterious immortal laws, one black and one black, began to fight in midair. It was obvious that both Immortal Devil Snake and Immortal Hongling were testing each other. However, neither of them used their killing moves. Immortal Devil Snake didn't use her full strength because she didn't want Jinhua to reap the benefits. Immortal Hongling didn't use her full strength because she felt that there was no need to fight to the death with Immortal Devil Snake. Her task was to protect herself for the time being. Puff! Puff! While Immortal Hongling and Immortal Devil Snake were in a deadlock, the battle on the other side was coming to an end. In Ningyu's hands, the essence-creating divine staff was like a divine weapon. Every swing of the staff killed a late-stage sky immortal. In a short period of time, most of the late-stage heaven immortals in the Mist Spirit realm had been killed by Ningyu. At this time, including Ming Ri, there were only 3 martial artists in the entire Mist Spirit realm. Behind Ming Ri, the 2 late-stage sky immortals were shivering and didn't even dare to attack again. Shocking. Ningyu killed his companion in a few moves, which shocked the 2 late-stage sky immortals. Deep in their hearts, they even had the mentality that Ningyu was invincible. Go! Ming Ri kicked out twice in a row, sending the 2 martial artists to Ningyu. Crack! Crack! Ningyu naturally wouldn't let go of the fat meat flying toward him. He controlled the essence creating divine staff and smashed it on the heads of the 2 martial artists. In an instant, the 2 martial artists were killed and the energy in their bodies was devoured. Run! Ming Ri was not an indecisive person. The moment he kicked the 2 late-stage sky immortals away, he stomped on the ground and quickly retreated backward. Since he was invincible, why stay and die in vain? Therefore, Ming Ri chose to escape. Where are you going, huh? Seeing Ming Ri escape, Ningyu just wanted to chase after him, but he stopped abruptly. Because Ningyu found that in the direction where Ming Ri escaped, the void suddenly burst, and a martial artist in purple appeared. Ningyu's perception was very strong. From this purple-clothed martial artist, he felt a familiar aura. Dan Lin. Chapter 2058. Get out of my way. Because Ming Ri was in a hurry to escape, he didn't pay attention to the elixir puppet's cultivation. Seeing someone standing in front of him, Ming Ri shouted, lifted his right foot, and kicked out fiercely. For Ming Ri, he must escape as soon as possible. Otherwise, when Ningyu caught up with him, he would only end up dead. Umph! You overestimate yourself. The elixir puppet looked at Ming Ri, who was approaching him, and immediately snorted. Immediately, he punched out fiercely with violent immortal chi. Crack! A crisp sound rang out. Ah! Immediately afterward, a scream like that of a pig being slaughtered came out of Ming Ri's mouth. Devour! The purple-robed elixir puppet didn't hold back. Instead, a terrifying devouring power emerged from his body. Before Ming Ri could react, Ming Ri was swallowed up. Hiss! From the appearance of the elixir puppet to the devouring of Ming Ri, it all happened in the blink of an eye. In the distance, Jin Hua and the demonic snake immortal both opened their mouths slightly, and their faces were full of disbelief. Although Ming Ri was seriously injured in the fight with Ningyu, he was still a martial artist at the peak of the late stage of Heaven Immortal. Now, a martial artist in purple suddenly appeared and killed Ming Ri in one move. How could they not be shocked? Dark Emperor, is this guy the elixir puppet who left a seal in your body? Ningyu's face was slightly solemn, because he felt a terrifying aura from the elixir puppet. However, even though the elixir puppet was very powerful, Ningyu still asked the Dark Emperor in the storage ring. If this elixir puppet was the person who sealed the Dark Emperor, then no matter what, Ningyu would avenge the Dark Emperor. Yes, it's him. In the storage ring, the Dark Emperor's face was livid, and he said fiercely, "At that time, he forcibly sealed me despite my objection." Ningyu rolled his eyes. "What do you mean by ignoring your objection? Since the elixir puppet decided to seal you, he would certainly ignore your objection. If the elixir puppet gave up as soon as someone objected, then he would probably achieve nothing. You're Ningyu." Just at that moment, the purple-clothed Dan puppet moved a few steps forward. He stared at Ningyu and said, "You don't look like anything special. Why did Immortal Creation choose you?" Ningyu frowned slightly, but did not say anything. Back when he had killed Immortal Blood Venom's clone, he had learned some information from Immortal Blood Venom's memories regarding why Immortal Blood Venom wanted to capture him. Now that the purple-robed pill puppet mentioned Immortal Creation, Ningyu faintly understood. As expected, he was Immortal Origin Creation's chess piece. Although the end of the path of ingress was guarded by the elders of the various domains, as long as he revealed his identity as Immortal Creation's chess piece, the elders of the various domains would not dare to do anything to him. Moreover, Immortal Creation had left behind an Origin Creation Hall in the Myriad Demon Ridge and an Origin Creation Divine Staff in the Origin Creation Hall. The elders of the various domains were not stupid. You couldn't say that you were a chess piece just because you said you were. They used the Origin Creation Divine Staff to determine whether a martial artist was Immortal Creation's chess piece or not. Therefore, many experts wanted to kill Ningyu and snatch the Origin Creation Divine Staff. They had killed Ningyu to prevent him from being exposed and snatched the Origin Creation Divine Staff to confirm his identity as a chess piece. Not everyone had the right to know about this. At the very least, it was obvious from the expressions of Jin Hua and the demonic snake immortal that they did not know about this. The reason why Immortal Blood Venom knew about this was because he had heard about this secret in a high-level dimension. Kill yourself. If I do it, you will suffer a lot. The purple-robed elixir puppet crossed his arms and looked at Ningyu with interest. I can guarantee that as long as you kill yourself and give me the Origin Creation Divine Staff, I will let your friends go. As he spoke, the purple-robed elixir puppet glanced at Jin Hua and the others. Ningyu had an idea and said, "It's not impossible for me to give you the Origin Creating Divine Staff, but you have to do me a favor. I hate it when people negotiate with me." The purple-robed elixir puppet frowned, but he still asked, "What favor?" "Kill them." Ningyu pointed at Jin Hua and Demon Snake Immortal and said, "Before you came, the two of them made things difficult for me in every possible way. I almost destroyed the Origin Divine Staff because of their harassment." Swish! The purple-robed elixir puppet's face darkened when he heard Ningyu's words. Although the purple-robed elixir puppet knew that Ningyu was using him as a tool, he was still furious. The reason he could leave the path of ingress alive was because of the Origin Creation Divine Staff. If Ningyu really destroyed the Origin Creation Divine Staff, everyone on the path of ingress, including him, would die. "I will take care of them for you." The purple-robed elixir puppet pondered for a moment, then nodded and said to Ningyu, "I hope you will keep your promise later." As soon as the word promise fell, the purple-robed elixir puppet's figure flashed, tearing through the void and appearing in front of the demonic snake immortal. Whoosh! The purple-robed elixir puppet clenched his right fist and punched out. Damn it! The demonic snake immortal couldn't help but curse when he saw that Ningyu had convinced the purple-robed elixir puppet with just a few words. But the demonic snake immortal didn't dare to be careless. If he guessed correctly, the purple robe elixir puppet's real cultivation had broken through the limits of a late-stage sky immortal and reached the peak of a sky immortal. If he didn't use his abstruse immortal law, he definitely wouldn't be a match for the purple-robed elixir puppet. Go! With a low roar, the demonic snake immortal took out the blue profound immortal law that he carried with him, wanting to block the purple robe elixir puppet's fatal attack. Child's play. However, in the face of the blue profound immortal law that the demonic snake immortal had taken out, the corners of the purple-robed elixir puppet's mouth curled up. Then, he did something that shocked the demonic snake immortal. The purple-robed pill puppet opened its mouth and swallowed the demonic snake immortal's blue profound immortal law in front of everyone. Hiss! The purple robe elixir puppet's action made not only the demonic snake immortal, but also Ningyu, Zhao Rui, and the others gape in shock. Swallowing the profound immortal law. This level of strength had already exceeded the scope of a sky immortal. Even some weak profound immortals might not be able to swallow the profound immortal law, but they had to slowly refine it. Ningyu had relied on the origin creation divine staff to refine the profound immortal law of Nether Sunday. Otherwise, it would have been difficult for him to refine it in a short time. But now, the purple-robed elixir puppet had only used a few seconds to swallow and refine a profound immortal law. My profound immortal law. After a short silence, the demonic snake immortal let out a hysterical roar. The demonic snake immortal could almost predict it. She, who had lost the profound immortal law, would not have a better ending than Nether Sunday. Chapter 2059. You're about to lose your life, yet you're still thinking about the Xian immortal law. The pill puppet was expressionless. After devouring demonic snake immortal's Xian immortal law, he immediately rushed out. At the same time, a powerful devouring power emerged from his body and attacked demonic snake immortal. Jinhua, why aren't you coming over to help? Demonic snake immortal wasn't stupid. He wouldn't fight pill puppet by himself. Seeing that the purple-robed pill puppet's devouring power was about to reach him, the demonic snake immortal immediately shouted at Jinhua, Ningyu doesn't just want me dead. If I die, you won't have an easy time either. Damn it. Jinhua's face was gloomy. How could he not know that demonic snake immortal was right? However, even if he went over to help demonic snake immortal would definitely be killed. Rather than foolishly helping demonic snake immortal, he might as well try to persuade Zhao Rui to contact Ningyu through her and finally get Ningyu to let him go. No matter how he looked at it, the second method was much better than the first. Jinhua, even if I die, I won't. Puffed. Demonic snake immortal said coldly when he saw Jinhua hesitating. However, demonic snake immortal's voice came to an abrupt halt halfway through his sentence. Dark red blood spurted out of demonic snake immortal's mouth. At the same time, his body quickly shriveled up. Ding! Not long after, demonic snake immortal turned into a piece of skin. The walking stick in his hand fell heavily on the ground, making a crisp sound. There's still one more. Ningyu shrugged at Jinhua and gestured for Pill Puppet to act quickly. In order to get Pill Puppet to help him, Ningyu directly took out the Origin Creation Divine Staff and Xian Immortal Law and let them get close to the Origin Creation Divine Staff. Ningyu's intention was clear. As long as Pill Puppet didn't kill Jinhua, he would use Xian Immortal Law to destroy the Origin Creation Divine Staff. Alright, although Pill Puppet was furious, he had to do as he was told. At this moment, the purple-robed Dan Puppet hated the person who told Ningyu. The purple-robed Pill Puppet knew very well that when Immortal Essence Creation gave the Essence Creation Divine Staff to Ningyu, he would never tell Ningyu that he was just a pawn. Immortal Origin Creation hadn't told him, but Ningyu knew. Then there were only two possibilities. First, Ningyu had guessed it, which was less likely. Secondly, someone told Ningyu. This possibility was extremely high. Zhao Rui, save me. Seeing the purple-robed Pill Puppet charge at him, Jinhua's expression changed greatly as he hurriedly shouted at Zhao Rui. Zhao Rui looked at Jinhua, then looked at Ningyu, and then chose to remain silent. It was unwise to offend Ningyu for Jinhua. Moreover, what Zhao Rui needed to do now was not to help Jinhua, but how to protect herself. What the hell is going on? Zhao Rui turned around and looked at Ningyu. Ningyu did not answer Zhao Rui. Instead, he asked, "When we reach the end of the path to heaven, are you confident that you can leave? In other words, you will be able to avoid the experts of the middle-sized dominions." "I'm 50% sure." Although she didn't know why Ningyu asked, Zhao Rui still answered honestly. "I'm 100% confident that I can leave." Ningyu smiled bitterly. He had a bitter expression on his face. He was not only excited about leaving the path to heaven safely, but also sad about being chosen as a pawn by immortal essence creation. There was no free lunch in the world. To be honest, when immortal essence creation helped Ningyu had already vaguely guessed something. It was just that Ningyu had obtained the essence creation divine staff from his mother, Mu Yinshan. Ningyu guessed that immortal essence creation was related to the supreme Nine Purities Temple, but he did not think in that direction. After Ningyu devoured immortal blood poison's clone, Ningyu became more and more worried. It was only when the purple-robed pill puppet appeared that Ningyu was completely sure of his guess. 100% confident? Zhao Rui's mouth opened slightly in shock. At the end of the path to heaven, there might even be a half-step profound immortal or a true profound immortal expert. Zhao Rui was very puzzled when Ningyu said that he was 100% confident that he could leave. Uffed. At that moment, the sound of blood spurting came from afar. It was obvious that the purple-robed pill puppet had finished off Jinhua and devoured him. "Can you give me the Essence Creation Divine Staff now?" The purple-robed pill puppet's figure flashed and instantly appeared in front of Ningyu. "If you keep your promise, I will let you live. Otherwise, I will kill." Whoosh! The purple-robed pill puppet's indifferent words suddenly came to a halt. There was no other reason. In an area far away, the void suddenly split open and a group of martial artists appeared. These martial artists were all late-stage Heaven Immortals. The white-robed martial artist who led the group was a peak late-stage Heaven Immortal. He had more points than Fiend Snake Immortal and Jinhua. Crack! Suddenly, the void on the other side also split open and 3 martial artists slowly walked out of the void. These 3 martial artists were similar to the white-robed martial artist, peak late-stage Heaven Immortal. Boom! At the same time, the void not far from Ningyu's group also exploded and a martial artist wearing a bamboo hat appeared. Although the bamboo hat martial artist was also a peak late-stage Heaven Immortal, Ningyu and the others could feel that the bamboo hat martial artist was only slightly weaker than the purple-robed pill puppet. In other words, the purple-robed pill puppet couldn't kill the bamboo hat martial artist in a short time. In fact, if the bamboo hat martial artist had other trump cards, the purple-robed pill puppet might lose. Whoosh! 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 The entire area instantly became lively after these 3 groups of people appeared. In the next few minutes, a martial artist would appear almost every second. The cultivation level of these martial artists wasn't weak. The weakest among them was at the late Heaven Immortal realm. There were even a few martial artists who were the same cultivation as the purple-robed pill puppet, peak Heaven Immortal. Damn it! The sudden appearance of so many martial artists made the purple-robed pill puppet's face darken to the extreme. He was just about to get the origin-creating divine staff when something unexpected happened. The purple-robed pill puppet could tell that most of the martial artists who appeared should know that Ningyu was a pawn of the origin-creating immortal. Since they knew that Ningyu was a pawn, they would try to snatch the origin-creating divine staff. Although the purple-robed pill puppet was very powerful, he still knew his limits. He knew that he couldn't snatch the origin-creating divine staff with his current strength. Even if Ningyu gave him the origin-creating divine staff, he wouldn't be able to protect it. Instead of that, he might as well let Ningyu hold the origin-creating divine staff and wait until they entered the path to heaven. "I'll leave the origin-creating divine staff with you for now. With that thought, the purple-robed pill puppet sent a soul message to Ningyu. When we enter the path to heaven, I'll find a way to contact you. Give me the origin creating divine staff, then. You want to contact me through this thing that the Dark Emperor has, right? Ningyu flicked his wrist and took out a fingernail-sized crystal ball from his storage ring. Chapter 2060. How could it be in your hands? Looking at the crystal ball in Ningyu's hand, the elixir puppet's pupils constricted and his face was full of horror. Before Ningyu took out the crystal ball, the purple-robed elixir puppet could still appear calm. However, after Ningyu took out the crystal ball, the purple-robed elixir puppet lost his composure. Without the crystal ball, the elixir puppet couldn't know where the Dark Emperor was. If he didn't know where the Dark Emperor was, it meant that he didn't know where Ningyu was. How vast was the path to heaven? Once he lost Ningyu's location, it would be even more difficult to find Ningyu. Nothing is impossible. Ningyu shrugged and said, "Since you don't want the origin divine staff now, I won't give it to you. But I still want to thank you for killing Devil Snake Immortal and Jean Hua for me." Crack, crack, crack. Hearing Ningyu's words and seeing Ningyu's expression, the elixir puppet gnashed his teeth in anger. However, even though he was angry, he still didn't act rashly, because he knew very well that he could no longer be called the absolute overlord in this area. According to the elixir puppet's observation, there were at least 3 or 4 auras around him that he was afraid of. Whoosh! All of a sudden, the void cracked again, and a martial artist who was the same age as Ningyu appeared from the void. Hiss! When the young cultivator appeared, everyone in front of the path to heaven sucked in a breath of cold air. Strong. Very strong. He was extremely strong. Although the young martial artist cultivation was the same as the elixir puppets, they were both at the peak of heaven immortal. But relatively speaking, 2 elixir puppets might not be a match for this young martial artist. People from the Wuhan cave. Seeing the young martial artist, Zhao Rui's face turned slightly serious, and she said in a deep voice, "I didn't expect people from the Wuhan cave to come. This is going to be a little troublesome. Is the Wuhan cave stronger than the Central God Dynasty?" Ningyu was puzzled and asked. In Ningyu's opinion, the Central Divine Dynasty was a behemoth that ruled an upper-class territory. The Sacred Divine Palace, the Primeval Demon Sect, the Ancient Demon Sect, and the Fallen Spirit Sect were not even worthy of carrying its shoes. The fact that the Wuhan cave could make Zhao Rui look so serious showed that it was a powerful force that even the Central Divine Dynasty didn't want to provoke in a higher plane. Just like our Central Divine Dynasty, the Everlasting Cave is located in an upper-class territory. Taking a deep breath, Zhao Rui explained, but relatively speaking, there are many geniuses in the Wuhan cave. Even the geniuses of the 2 Central Celestial Dynasties are not as many as in the Wuhan cave. The Wuhan cave has a unique method of nurturing geniuses. They have people in almost every lower plane. Ningyu nodded, showing that he understood this very well. When he was still a Sky Supreme, he had mistakenly entered the Everlasting Cave. He met Zhao Rui's brother, Zhao Heng, in the Wuhan cave. Strictly speaking, Ningyu was also selected by the Wuhan cave, but Ningyu left the Wuhan cave with the help of Zhao Heng and others. Otherwise, Ningyu would have been taken to a higher plane by the people of the Wuhan cave to accept the next round of assessment. "You are Ningyu?" After the young warrior of the Wuhan cave appeared, his eyes first swept across the faces of the crowd, and then fell on Ningyu. Ningyu frowned slightly. He didn't like the attitude of the man from the Wuhan cave very much. But for the sake of the overall situation, Ningyu didn't act rashly. For him, as long as he entered the path to heaven, the danger of these people in front of him would be greatly reduced. After all, the path to heaven was extremely dangerous, and it was possible that even a peak sky immortal warrior would die in it. Quite a fierce temperament. The corners of the young warrior's mouth curled up, and he said disdainfully, "Since you were chosen by the Wuhan cave, it means that you are a person of the Wuhan cave in life and a ghost of the Wuhan cave in death. Come over now, open your mind, and let me control it. Maybe if I'm in a good mood, I can forgive your sins." "Are you an idiot?" Ningyu looked at the young warrior like he was looking at a fool and said, I don't even know what your name is. You say you are a person of the Wuhan Cave? I also say I'm the cave master of the Wuhan Cave. I ask you to open your mind and let me control it. Are you willing? Courting death. The young warrior's face instantly turned cold, and he immediately displayed his aura, frantically pressing towards Ningyu. Rumble. A terrifying aura sprang out from the young warrior, and in an instant, it arrived in front of Ningyu. Facing the terrifying aura rushing towards him, Ningyu not only did not feel nervous, but he shrugged his shoulders and said, I have a special characteristic, that is, I can't stand others threatening me. Once someone threatens me, I will blow myself up. As he spoke, Ningyu's body swelled up, and he looked like he was about to blow himself up. At the same time, Ningyu also took out the origin creating divine stick and placed it in front of him. Wait, we can talk things over. There's no need to kill me. Yes, if there's anything, let's sit down and talk it over. It's better to squash enmity than keep it alive. Seeing that Ningyu wanted to blow himself up, the surrounding warriors could not sit still. It did not matter if Ningyu blew himself up. They did not care at all. What they cared about was whether Ningyu's explosion would destroy the origin creating divine stick. 80 to 90% of the warriors who could come here knew the importance of the origin creating divine stick. Without the origin creating divine stick, the probability of them safely leaving the path to heaven was only 50% at most, or even less. Under this premise, whoever dared to destroy the origin creating divine stick would become the enemy of many warriors. Whoosh! Even the many warriors present, including the purple-clothed Dan puppet, joined forces to test the pressure on the young warriors of the Wuhan Cave. Being tested by so many people, even the young warriors of the Wuhan Cave, Mo Ran was very angry, but he had to withdraw his aura. Although Mo Ran was very strong, no matter how strong he could not be the enemy of so many people at the same time. Very good. Ningyu put away the origin creating divine stick, and his swollen body gradually returned to normal. I suggest that we attack together and find a way to break the bronze gate first. Seeing Mo Ran's livid face, the martial artist in the bamboo hat pointed to the bronze gate and said, It's meaningless for us to delay here. The sooner we break the bronze gate, the sooner we can enter the path to heaven. I agree. Let's break the bronze gate first. If you have any grudges, let's solve them in the path to heaven. Yes, the most urgent task is to break the bronze gate first. Everything else has to be put aside. Someone took the lead, and the rest of the warriors spoke up one after another. For a moment, Mo Ran became a marginal figure from the focus of everyone's attention. Many martialists had formed an alliance, and this alliance just happened to exclude Mo Ran from it. How could Mo Ran not know why everyone was excluding him? Chapter 2061. Swish. Mo Ran's words made everyone, including the bamboo hat cultivator, grimace. Because so long as one wasn't an idiot, one would be able to tell that Mo Ran was obviously targeting Ningyu. The goal of this temporary alliance was to help Ningyu and prevent Ningyu from being oppressed by Mo Ran. Now, not only did Mo Ran not restrain himself, he even became even more aggressive, causing everyone's expressions to become extremely unsightly. I don't care. Whether or not I can enter the path to the heavens has nothing to do with me. Ningyu naturally knew that Mo Ran was targeting him. He shrugged and said indifferently, Since you want to enter the path to the heavens, then go ahead and break open the bronze doors. As he spoke, Ningyu moved his feet and retreated to the back. In the blink of an eye, he retreated to the back. Behind Ningyu, Immortal Hongling and Immortal Five Fingers did not remain idle. They chased after Mo Ran. Damn it! Mo Ran's face turned green with anger when he saw Ningyu's actions. His original intention had been to cause trouble for Ningyu. But now, not only had he failed, but Ningyu had even managed to corner him. If Ningyu wasn't going to the path to the heavens, what was the point of them going? Mo Ran coldly snorted, then took a step forward. His fist brought along a violent yuan qi gale and ruthlessly smashed towards the bronze door. Swish! However, as Mo Ran advanced, an extremely well-concealed cold light suddenly shot out of his body and stealthily approached Ningyu. This cold light was very well concealed, so well hidden that no one noticed it. Even Ningyu didn't notice the cold light that was coming at him at the first moment. However, even though Ningyu hadn't noticed it, the origin creating divine staff on him gave him a hint. Buzz. The origin creating divine staff buzzed continuously and transmitted a message into Ningyu's mind. Swish! The message from the essence creation divine rod made Ningyu's heart skip a beat. He hurriedly used his perception to observe his surroundings. Although Ningyu was very anxious, he did not block Mo Ran's attack with great fanfare in order not to alert the enemy. Instead, he decided to observe first. As expected, almost in an instant, a cold glint attached to the corner of Ningyu's clothes. A cold smile appeared at the corner of Ningyu's mouth before he returned to normal. Since he had discovered the cold light that Mo Ran had left on his body, the next step would be easy. As long as he could get rid of the cold light that Mo Ran had left behind after entering the path to heaven, no matter how powerful Mo Ran was, he would not be able to discover his tracks. Rumble. At this moment, in the distance, the bamboo hat martial artist, the violet-robed pill puppet, and even Zhao Rui were unleashing powerful attacks at the bronze gate. In an instant, all sorts of spells and martial techniques were hurled at the bronze door. Kacha! Under the combined attacks of the crowd, the bronze door gradually began to crack. Let's keep it up. Mo Ran rejoiced at the sight of the cracks on the bronze door, and he hurriedly said, "In another 5 minutes, the bronze door will be broken." Rumble. It seemed that Mo Ran's words had been effective. Everyone in the area was attacking with all their might. How much do you know about the path to heaven? As everyone was attacking the bronze door, Ningyu suddenly turned to Immortal Hongling and asked, "I hope that you are not lying to me. Tell me everything you know." Immortal Hongling's heart thumped when she heard Ningyu's words. Immortal Hongling was well aware that, despite Ningyu's calm tone, Ningyu was already angry. After all, she had not told Ningyu about the path to heaven at the very beginning. She had only told him about the path to heaven. Under such circumstances, even if she was in his shoes, she would probably be very angry. To be honest, the fact that Ningyu could remain calm until now was a little beyond Immortal Hongling's expectations. Taking a deep breath, Immortal Hongling said, "The path to heaven is extremely dangerous. There might even be demonic beasts at the half-step abstruse immortal level." Half-step abstruse immortal? Ningyu's expression could not help but turn grave. He knew that at the end of the path to heaven, there would be demonic beasts at the half-step abstruse immortal level. He had not expected that there would be demonic beasts at the half-step abstruse immortal level on the path to heaven. He now had 2 abstruse immortal laws, and after devouring many late-stage heaven immortals in the mist spirit realm, the essence creation divine staff could exert 50% of its power, which was equivalent to 1 abstruse immortal law. Even so, Ningyu still could not pose even the slightest threat to a half-step abstruse immortal expert. The essence creation divine staff with 50% of its power and 2 abstruse immortal laws could only give him a slight advantage when facing a peak heaven immortal expert. That was all. According to Ningyu's guess, if he wanted to compete with a half-step abstruse immortal expert, he had to become a real heaven immortal and pass the heaven immortal tribulation. Not only demonic beasts at the half-step abstruse immortal level, but there might even be demonic beasts at the true profound immortal level. Immortal Hongling's words were as shocking as they could get. Hiss! Hearing Immortal Hongling's words, even though Ningyu was prepared, he could not help but gasp. Demonic beasts at the half-step abstruse immortal level were already very troublesome for him, let alone demonic beasts at the profound immortal level. Of course, the more dangerous it is, the more opportunities there will be. Immortal Hongling paused for a while, and then continued. In the path to heaven, There are many graves of demonic beasts at the half-step, abstruse, immortal level. Almost every martial artist who enters the path to heaven can find a grave. And in every grave, there should be abstruse, immortal laws. As for whether one can take away and refine the abstruse, immortal laws, it all depends on one's ability. Ningyu did not doubt that immortal Hongling would lie to him. After all, with his current strength, immortal Hongling would not dare to lie to him. Even if immortal Hongling concealed her strength, she would at most have 2 abstruse immortal laws. In other words, besides the black abstruse immortal law that she had just displayed, immortal Hongling should have another abstruse immortal law. However, even if immortal Hongling had 2 abstruse immortal laws, she was absolutely not a match for Ningyu. Ningyu could kill her at any time if he wanted to. This is an opportunity. Immortal Hongling saw that Ningyu was slightly stunned, and a thought suddenly arose in her mind. When she first met Ningyu, Ningyu's strength was much weaker than hers. The reason she did not capture Ningyu was because she did not want to expose her abstruse immortal laws too early. Who would have thought that after such a short period of time, she would no longer be able to pose even the slightest threat to Ningyu? If this trend continued, it would not be long before Ningyu's strength could easily kill a peak heaven immortal expert. Therefore, the idea that arose in immortal Hongling's heart was not to launch a sneak attack to kill Ningyu, but to submit to Ningyu. The surrender in her heart was complete and utter, without any stray thoughts. Chapter 2062. Abstruse Immortal. Every time immortal Hongling thought of these 2 words, her heart would be filled with longing. It could be said that, apart from immortal Hongling, almost all sky immortals were fascinated by abstruse immortals. They were even crazy about it. This was because advancing to abstruse immortal realm wasn't just about having enough immortal chi or abstruse immortal laws. Talent, resources, opportunities, not a single one of them could be missing. Immortal Hongling was a late-stage sky immortal, had 2 abstruse immortal laws, and was very talented. However, immortal Hongling knew her own limitations. She knew that her chances of breaking through to abstruse immortal were only a terrifying 5%, or even 1%, 1%, or even 1%. Faced with such a terrifying possibility, it was understandable that immortal Hongling wanted to rely on Ningyu and take a gamble. What's the matter? Immortal Hongling's actions attracted Ningyu's attention. Ningyu asked, I want to rely on you. Immortal Hongling took a deep breath, as if she had made a great decision. I want to rely on you for real. Oh, if you want to rely on me, then so be it. Why do you have to be so? Ningyu stopped mid-sentence. He looked at immortal Hongling and asked, What did you say? I said I want to rely on you. I want to open my mind and let you control me completely. Immortal Hongling said solemnly as she looked at Ningyu. Why would you have such a thought? Ningyu was very curious. He didn't think that he had the aura of a king that made immortal Hongling want to submit to him. Moreover, if he really had the aura of a king, immortal Hongling would have submitted to him long ago. Why would she wait until now? Therefore, there had to be another reason why immortal Hongling wanted to submit to him. Your cultivation speed is really too fast. I feel that if I follow you, I will have a high chance of breaking through to abstruse immortal. Immortal Hongling didn't hide anything and said directly, although I'm from the primordial demon sect, and the primordial demon sect has a grudge against you, I severed all ties with them the moment they sent me to the immortal spirit realm, because I knew that it would be very difficult for me to leave the path of ingress safely. I won't be able to become a true Shin immortal on the path of ingress. What do you mean? Ningyu frowned. Is it possible to advance on the path of ingress? Ever since he entered the through path, Ningyu felt that he would not be able to advance any further. Because of this, he sighed with emotion. Since he was unable to advance, he could only rely on external forces to increase his strength. Origin creating divine rod, or Shin immortal law. From what immortal Hongling had said, it seemed that he could successfully raise his cultivation level in the path to heaven. How could he not be shocked? Immortal Hongling nodded and said, "Logically speaking, you can't advance on the path of ingress. However, there's a lot of pure immortal qi left in the abodes of some powerful Xian immortal demonic beasts. You can use that immortal qi to advance smoothly. In that case, even if I advance, it won't be very useful, right?" Ningyu frowned. "I know what you're worried about. Advancing on the path to heaven can trigger a heavenly tribulation." Since she had decided to serve Ningyu, Immortal Hongling naturally told him everything she knew. She sorted out her thoughts and sent a voice transmission to Ningyu. "However, the end of the path to heaven is controlled by the experts of the various dominions, so they can see the strength of your heavenly tribulation. They can see it too." Ningyu fell into deep thought. To him, once he advanced to the heavenly immortal stage, his strength would improve by leaps and bounds. By then, if he met Mo Ran, Purple Robe-Dan Puppet, and the others again, he could easily fight them and even kill them. However, his heavenly tribulation was too powerful. He was afraid that he would be remembered by the experts of the various dominions. "Is there any way to block the heavenly tribulation?" Ningyu asked. Immortal Hongling thought about it and shook her head. "There's no way. Unless you suppress it and don't trigger the heavenly tribulation, they will definitely see it." At this point, Immortal Hongling paused for a moment before she lowered her voice and said, "Is your heavenly tribulation very powerful?" Hee. Ningyu smiled and did not answer Immortal Hongling's question. What did she mean by very powerful? If nothing went wrong, Ningyu's heavenly immortal tribulation would definitely be earth-shattering and earth-shattering. After all, Ningyu's earthly immortal tribulation was already equivalent to the heavenly immortal tribulation of some experts. Although his heavenly immortal tribulation might not be as powerful as the Xian immortal tribulation, it would not be too far off. "Don't tell me it's really powerful?" Immortal Hongling's mouth opened slightly when she saw Ningyu's reaction. Her face was full of surprise. However, even though she was surprised, Immortal Hongling was actually very happy. She had already decided to submit to Ningyu. The more powerful Ningyu's heavenly immortal tribulation was, the more talented Ningyu was. Moreover, with Ningyu's talent, her chances of becoming a Xian immortal in the future would naturally increase. Ningyu, the five-fingered immortal, looked at Immortal Hongling, then at Ningyu. Then he stammered, "I want to enter, speak normally." Ningyu's attitude towards Immortal Hongling was very good. Strictly speaking, there was not much enmity between him and Immortal Hongling. But the five-fingered immortal was different. The five-fingered immortal wanted to kill him. If not for the fact that he was stronger than the five-fingered immortal, the two of them would have probably exchanged fates. "I want to enter the spatial ring." The five-fingered immortal mustered up his courage. "You want to enter the spatial ring?" Ningyu frowned slightly. Then he relaxed. The five-fingered immortal's cultivation was very weak. He had not even reached the late-stage heavenly immortal stage. Even a martial artist like the five-fingered immortal would be nothing more than cannon fodder on the path to heaven, let alone on the path to heaven. If not for Ningyu's help, the five-fingered immortal would have died on the path to heaven. How could he have made it here? Go in. No matter what, the five-fingered immortal was Ningyu's servant. Ningyu would not be stingy with his servants. He opened the spatial ring and let the five-fingered immortal in. Thank you. Seeing Ningyu open the storage ring, the five-fingered immortal immediately expressed his gratitude before darting into the storage ring. Crack, crack, crack. As soon as the five-fingered immortal entered the spatial ring, the bronze door nearby suddenly cracked open. "Let's go." After the bronze door cracked open, Mo Ran did not seem to care about Ningyu anymore. He was the first to rush into the path to heaven. Did the sun rise from the west? The surrounding martial artists were shocked when they saw Mo Ran being the first to enter the path to heaven. Everyone knew that the Origin Divine Rod was the key to successfully leaving the path to heaven. Why would Mo Ran be the first to enter? Could it be that Mo Ran had a backup plan? Swoosh! With this thought in mind, everyone's gaze shifted to Ningyu. Chapter 2063. Hearing Ningyu's words, Everyone in front of the path of ingress was taken aback. Then, their expressions turned strange. Everyone knew that it was not that Ningyu did not want to enter the path of ingress, but that he did not want to enter it with them. And he said he was a man of his word? Who are you trying to fool? However, since Ningyu had said so, no one could refute him. Suddenly, the area became so quiet that one could hear the sound of breathing. What are you all waiting for? Hurry up and enter the path of ingress. If you delay any longer, the entrance will be sealed. The first to break the silence was not the purple-robed pill puppet, nor the bamboo-hatted cultivator. Ningyu. Ningyu was the first to break the silence. I will not be entering the path of ingress. Do as you please. Don't worry about what I think. Damn it. The purple-robed pill puppet glared at Ningyu, then leaped into the air and was the second to enter the path of ingress. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Since the purple-robed pill puppet had set an example, the others did not wait any longer. They all rushed into the path of ingress. In a short period of time, there were only 3 cultivators left in front of the path of ingress. Ningyu, Immortal Hongling, and Zhao Rui. You're really not going in? Zhao Rui pointed at the path of ingress and said to Ningyu, there is only one way to enter a higher plane from the immortal spirit region. If you don't go in today, it will be 10 times more difficult for you to enter a higher plane in the future. Of course I'm going in. Ningyu shrugged and began to walk toward the entrance of the path of ingress. Wait. Seeing that Ningyu wanted to enter the path of ingress, Zhao Rui thought for a moment and seemed to have made a decision. She braced herself and said, after we enter the path of ingress, we will be transported to a random area, so I want to go with you. Go with me? Ningyu was taken aback. He did not know what Zhao Rui meant, but on second thought, Ningyu instantly understood. Zhao Rui wanted him to enter her storage ring, or rather, she wanted him to enter Zhao Rui's treasure so that he could become one with Zhao Rui and enter the path of ingress together. In this way, even if the path to heaven teleported the cultivators to a certain area, they could still be together. Go into the storage ring. Ningyu pondered for a moment and chose to let Zhao Rui enter the storage ring. After all, Zhao Rui had helped him a lot, so there was nothing wrong with letting Zhao Rui enter his storage ring. Thank you. Zhao Rui didn't argue with Ningyu. Her figure flashed, and she instantly entered the storage ring. After Zhao Rui entered the storage ring, Ningyu saw that Immortal Hongling was standing there hesitantly. Thus, he decided to let Immortal Hongling enter the storage ring with him. Anyway, his combat power wasn't weak. He had the Origin Creation Divine Staff at 50% power and 2 Xian Immortal Laws. Unless one was unlucky on the path to heaven and encountered a true half-step Profound Immortal, or even a Profound Immortal-level demonic beast. Otherwise, with his strength, he wouldn't have had much of a problem in the path of ingress. Swoosh! Ningyu wasn't an indecisive person. He closed the storage ring, his figure flashed, and he rushed straight into the path to heaven. Buzz! Not long after Ningyu disappeared, the void in this area split again. A cultivator with a pointy mouth appeared. If Ningyu was here, he would definitely discover that this sharp-mouthed cultivator wasn't a human, but a phantom mouse that he was familiar with. One had to know that the phantom armor had always been with Ningyu. However, as Ningyu's strength increased, the phantom armor could no longer satisfy him. Thus, he didn't try to upgrade the phantom armor's level recently. Now that the sharp-mouthed phantom mouse appeared, it immediately straightened its nose and sniffed hard. Then, a fierce look appeared on its face. I'm finally going to find the 3rd phantom armor of the Phantom Mouse clan. The sharp-mouthed phantom mouse curled up the corner of its mouth and said sinisterly, as long as I can combine the 3rd phantom armor with the first 2, I will be able to create a magic treasure at the peak of the Heaven Immortal level in an instant. By then, all the opportunities on the path to heaven will belong to me. As soon as it finished speaking, the sharp-mouthed phantom mouse instantly turned into a residual shadow and went into the path to heaven. Whoosh! As soon as the sharp-mouthed phantom mouse disappeared, the area split again. This time, there was only one cultivator who appeared. He was about 60 or 70 years old. Ningyu was very familiar with this cultivator. If Ningyu was here, he would easily recognize this old man as the old man on the top floor of the Ivory Tower in Ivory City. Ningyu still had the time obverse pagoda that the old man had given him. I didn't expect to use the time obverse pagoda after so long. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. The old man sighed softly. Then, he tiptoed and disappeared into the path to heaven in a few breaths. Rumble. Not long after the old man disappeared, a huge bronze door suddenly appeared at the entrance of the path to heaven. This bronze door sealed the entrance of the path to heaven so tightly that not even a fly could fly in. Ningyu had no idea what had happened at the entrance of the path to heaven. However, even if Ningyu knew, he would not care too much about it. This was because after entering the path to heaven, he was transported to a mountain range. If he had only been transported to a mountain range, Ningyu would not have been worried. What worried him was that the mountain range began to shake violently when he landed. The violent shaking lasted for half an hour before it stopped. Do you think the stop of the shaking is the end? Sorry, the stop of the shaking means the arrival of another starting point. Rumble. In front of Ningyu, the ground suddenly caved in and 4 huge stone pillars suddenly emerged from the ground. On top of each stone pillar was a small altar. It's a half-step Xian immortal demonic beast skeleton. Ningyu was shocked because he saw a small-scale altar at the top of every single stone pillar, and every single altar contained the corpse of a half-step mysterious immortal realm demon beast. Earthly underworld hound. Ningyu's expression turned solemn. The so-called earthly underworld hound, as the name suggested, was a type of dog that lived deep underground. The opposite of the earthly underworld hound was the heaven-devouring hound. Although the heaven-devouring hound was ranked higher than the earthly underworld hound in the vast thousand world, some of the stronger martial artists knew that the gap between the two wasn't that big. There were experts among the earthly underworld hounds. Not to mention the Xian immortal level earthly underworld hounds. They could even fight against the Xian immortal level heaven-devouring hound. Using 4 earthly underworld hounds as sacrifices, the weakest demonic beast or human would be a Xian immortal at the very least. Whoosh! Whoosh! Ningyu did not make a decision on his own. Instead, he released Zhao Ruwei and Immortal Hongling from his storage ring. It's actually an earthly underworld hound. Why is there an earthly underworld hound here? Immortal Hongling and Zhao Ruwei had different reactions when they appeared. Chapter 2064. We're in trouble. Zhao Ruwei and Immortal Hongling looked at each other and saw the uneasiness in each other's eyes. Taking a deep breath, Zhao Ruwei said to Ningyu, "If I'm not wrong, these 4 Earth Nether Hounds are just the appetizer. The real sacrificial items are yet to come." Rumble. As if to verify the accuracy of Zhao Ruwei's words, an even larger stone pillar slowly appeared at the center of the 4 stone pillars. Gasp! Seeing the small altar on top of the huge stone pillar, Ningyu and the others all sucked in a breath of cold air. Zhao Ruwei was right. The 4 half-step abstruse immortal Earth Netherhound were just the appetizer. The real big fish was the Earth Netherhound on the small altar. Abstruse immortal. Although the Earth Netherhound had been dead for a long time, Ningyu and the others could tell from its aura that it was abstruse immortal demon beast. 4 half-step abstruse immortals and 1 abstruse immortal. Such a lineup of sacrificial items could no longer be considered luxurious. It would not be an exaggeration to describe it as super luxurious. Did we just barge into the grave of a golden immortal? Ningyu felt his scalp go numb. Given his and Zhao Ruwei's strength, if they encountered a peak heaven immortal expert, they would be able to resist or even kill them. But if they met a half-step abstruse immortal or demon beast, they could only swallow their grievances. What they were facing now was not just a half-step abstruse immortal, but an abstruse immortal or golden immortal. It shouldn't be a golden immortal. Zhao Ruwei shook her head. How powerful is a golden immortal? This path to heaven might look stable, but I can tell you clearly that once a golden immortal appears, the path to heaven will definitely collapse. Could it be that origin creation immortal isn't a golden immortal? Ningyu's heart skipped a beat. He had always thought that origin creation immortal was a golden immortal. After all, the true level of the origin creation divine staff was a peak abstruse treasure. It was just that he couldn't unleash the full power of the origin creation divine staff. Now that Zhao Rui said that golden immortals wouldn't appear on the path of ingress, didn't that mean that origin creation immortals cultivation was at most a peak Xian immortal? Don't worry about it. Let's take these earthly abyss hounds away first. Just as Ningyu was in a daze, Zhao Rui's words suddenly reached his ears. Ningyu was stunned when he heard the voice. Then, he looked at Zhao Rui in disbelief. In the end, you were just trying to get your hands on the corpses of the Netherworld hounds. Let's make an agreement first. I want 3 half-step Xian immortal underworld hound corpses. Ignoring Ningyu's strange gaze, Zhao Rui stretched out 3 fingers and said, "You too, don't fight with me." As she spoke, Zhao Rui's feet touched the ground, and her body instantly shot out. Whoosh! Seeing Zhao Rui rush out, Ningyu's face darkened. There were a total of 4 half-step Xian immortal underworld hounds. Zhao Rui wanted 3 in one go. She was really asking for an exorbitant price. The reason why Ningyu felt that Zhao Rui was asking for an exorbitant price wasn't because he was stingy, but because he felt that he wouldn't be able to get the Xian immortal underworld hound corpse with his current strength. Try using the origin creation divine staff. Perhaps sensing Ningyu's depression, Immortal Hongling said, "Even if a Xian immortal underworld hound is dead, it still has a terrifying aura. You have to withstand that terrifying aura in order to get it." I see. Hearing Immortal Hongling's words, Ningyu gradually understood. It wasn't that Zhao Rui didn't want the Xian immortal underworld hound corpse, but she didn't have a magic treasure that could withstand the aura of a Xian immortal. After all, in order to withstand the aura of a Xian immortal, her magic treasure had to be at least to the Xian immortal level. I'll leave the remaining half-step Xian immortal underworld hound corpse to you. Since Immortal Hongling had told Ningyu this secret, Ningyu naturally wouldn't be stingy. As for the remaining Xian immortal Hongling, Ningyu decided to give it to Immortal Hongling. As for him, he held the origin creation divine staff and rushed towards the Xian immortal underworld hound corpse in the middle. "Thank you." Seeing that Ningyu was willing to give her the Xian immortal underworld hound corpse, Immortal Hongling's face lit up as she hurriedly thanked him. Actually, it was no wonder that Immortal Hongling was so excited. If she could refine this half-step Xian immortal underworld hound corpse, her strength would at least double. Swish! Ningyu didn't care whether Immortal Hongling was excited or not. Holding the origin creation divine staff, he arrived beside the Xian immortal underworld hound corpse in the blink of an eye. Buzz! As expected, an extremely terrifying aura emanated from the Xian immortal underworld hound corpse, pressing down on Ningyu. Go! Fortunately, Ningyu was prepared. He immediately placed the origin creation divine staff on top of the Xian immortal underworld hound corpse. However, what Ningyu expected didn't happen. The origin creation divine staff didn't suppress the aura emanating from the Xian immortal underworld hound. Instead, it reversed and was suppressed by the aura. What's going on? Ningyu frowned slightly. He turned to look at Immortal Hongling and Zhao Rui, who were at the side, and realized that they were working hard. Zhao Rui was very fast. In a short period of time, she had already collected 2 Xian immortal underworld hound corpses. Immortal Hongling wasn't bad either. According to Ningyu's estimation, she would need at most 3 minutes to collect the Xian immortal underworld hound corpse. Could it be that this Xian immortal underworld hound's cultivation isn't at the early stage, Xian immortal stage? Ningyu's brows were tightly knitted as he fell into deep thought. In Ningyu's opinion, Immortal Hongling definitely wouldn't dare to lie to him. After all, Immortal Hongling was completely under his control. As long as he willed it, Immortal Hongling would die. All right. Suddenly, Ningyu slapped his head and hurriedly took out the leftover material from the lightning pool. Ningyu wanted to see if the leftover material from the lightning pool could suppress the aura emanating from the Xian immortal underworld hound corpse. Although the origin creation divine staff had reached the peak of Xian treasure, Ningyu was ultimately unable to unleash 100% of its power. The origin creation divine staff, with 50% of its power, was equivalent to an ordinary peak late-stage heavenly treasure Dharma treasure. The leftover material from the lightning pool was chopped off by Ningyu from the lightning pool. Strictly speaking, its material was much better than the origin creation divine staff. Buzz. Reality proved that Ningyu's decision to take out the leftover material from the lightning pool was the right choice. The leftover material from the lightning pool was indeed able to suppress the aura emanating from the Xian immortal underworld hound corpse. Furthermore, Ningyu also discovered something extremely shocking. There wasn't just one Xian immortal underworld hound corpse in the small altar. According to Ningyu's initial observation, there were at least 5 Xian immortal level Xian immortal underworld hound corpses in the small altar. Isn't this too exaggerated? Ningyu's mouth was wide open and his face was filled with disbelief. 5 Xian immortal underworld hound corpses were already enough for him to charge into the heaven immortal realm. In fact, Ningyu had already made up his mind. As long as he obtained the 5 Xian immortal underworld hound corpses, he would charge into the heaven immortal realm right here. Chapter 2065. Buzz. Suddenly, Ningyu was taken aback. He realized that the essence creation divine rod in his hand was vibrating intensely. You should enter the storage ring first. Ningyu opened the storage ring and placed the essence creation divine rod inside. After entering the path to heaven, Ningyu made a decision. Unless he had no other choice, he would not increase the power of the essence creation divine rod. In other words, a 50% power essence creation divine rod might accompany him until he left the path to heaven. Although Ningyu did not completely lose trust in the essence creation divine rod, it had already become his second choice. The red demon's sword's position in his heart soared to the top again. Can you give me a corpse? Ningyu had just thrown the essence creation divine rod into the storage ring when he heard the red demon's voice. The red demon's strength was linked to the grade of the red demon sword. The red demon sword was now a late-stage heavenly treasure, so the red demon's strength was a late-stage heaven immortal. Once the red demon sword was upgraded to a dark treasure, the red demon's strength would definitely soar to the Xian immortal level. How much can an Earth Hellhound's corpse increase your strength? Ningyu asked directly. In Ningyu's opinion, if the red demon could increase his cultivation to the peak heaven immortal level, he would not frown even if he had to give him 2 Earth Hellhound corpses. Peak late-stage heaven immortal level. The red demon thought for a moment and answered, if I can have 2 Earth Hellhound corpses, my strength can increase to the peak heaven immortal level. All right, I'll give you 2 Earth Hellhound corpses. Ningyu nodded and threw the 2 Earth Hellhound corpses to the red demon. Swoosh! After receiving the 2 Earth Hellhound corpses, the red demon flew to the other side. As for Ningyu, he placed his right hand on one of the Earth Hellhound corpses and began to devour the remaining energy. Bam! Just as Ningyu started devouring the Earth Hound corpses, Zhao Rui had already completely refined the 3 half-step Xian immortal Earth Hound corpses. After refining the 3 Earth Hellhound corpses, even though Zhao Rui's cultivation was still in the late heavenly immortal stage, her battle prowess had recovered to its peak. After all, before refining the corpse of the Netherworld Hound, Zhao Rui was only able to bring forth 50% of her peak strength. Boom! At the same time, Immortal Redling had also completed her devouring and refining process. However, Immortal Hongling had only devoured and refined the corpse of a half-step Xian immortal underworld hound, so her strength did not improve much. It seems Ningyu wants to assail the heavenly immortal stage. After sensing her own strength, Immortal Hongling shifted her gaze to Ningyu. As soon as she did, Immortal Hongling's brows furrowed. It wasn't that immortal Hongling didn't believe in Ningyu, but if he were to undergo the heavenly immortal tribulation here, it would very likely cause the entire mountain range to shake. It didn't matter if the mountain range shook, but if the master of the ritual appeared, the consequences would be unimaginable. Although a lot of energy has been lost from the 3 Xian immortal underworld hound corpses, it's enough to support Ningyu's breakthrough to the heavenly immortal stage. Hearing immortal Hongling's words, Zhao Rui also stared at Ningyu. However, Zhao Rui and immortal Hongling had different opinions. From her expression, one could tell that she wasn't worried at all. Even so, I'm worried. Immortal Hongling pointed to the depths of the mountain range and said, "You don't have to worry at all. I've observed carefully just now and discovered that we are in the middle of a huge array, and these 5 huge stone pillars are the eyes of the array." Zhao Rui pointed to the entire mountain range, then pointed to the 5 huge stone pillars in front of them, and explained there are a total of 5 such eyes. 5? Immortal Hongling was stunned at first, then said, "You mean to say that there are a total of 25 huge stone pillars, and on top of each stone pillar is the corpse of an Earth Hellhound?" Actually, it was no wonder that immortal Hongling was shocked. If what Zhao Rui said was true, then how powerful was the owner of the entire mountain range? Unless Ningyu's heavenly immortal tribulation is comparable to the Xian immortal tribulation, it's impossible for it to attract the attention of the owner of the mountain range. Zhao Rui shrugged, then shifted her gaze to the Hong Fiend. Compared to Ningyu, Zhao Rui was more curious about the Hong Fiend. The Hong Fiend was the sword spirit of the Red Fiend sword. Not only did it have its own consciousness, but it could also live independently from a sword. To be honest, Zhao Rui had never seen a sword spirit like the Hong Fiend, even though she was from the Central Divine Dynasty. A heavenly immortal tribulation comparable to the Xian immortal tribulation? Immortal Hongling frowned. For some reason, she felt that things weren't so simple. After all, when Ningyu mentioned the heavenly immortal tribulation to her, his expression didn't seem to be fake. Drip, drip. Time was ticking away. In the blink of an eye, 2 hours had passed. After 2 hours, the Hong Fiend finally refined the 2 Earth Hellhound corpses. Bam, bam. 2 muffled sounds rang out. The first was the Red Fiend sword's advancement from the late stage Heavenly Treasure to the peak stage Heavenly Treasure. The second was the Hong Fiend sword's advancement from the late stage Heaven Immortal Realm to the peak stage Heaven Immortal Realm. The Hong Fiend sword's strength was linked to the Red Fiend sword's advancement. Now that the Red Fiend sword had advanced to the peak stage Heaven Immortal Realm, the Hong Fiend sword's strength naturally soared to the peak stage Heaven Immortal Realm. The Dark Emperor, Ning Lu, the Hong Fiend. Zhao Rui's eyes darted around, thinking of countermeasures. In Zhao Rui's heart, she had always wanted Ning Lu and the Dark Emperor to join the Central Divine Dynasty, because she felt that they were very talented. But now, after seeing the talent displayed by the Hong Fiend, Zhao Rui gradually changed her mind. She felt that the Hong Fiend sword was the most talented. After all, Ning Lu and the Dark Emperor were only at the Earth Immortal Realm, while the Hong Fiend sword had soared to the peak stage Heaven Immortal Realm. It seems that I have to find a chance to talk to the Hong Fiend and try to get him to. Zhao Rui took a deep breath and murmured, "Rumble." However, before Zhao Rui could finish her words, her mouth opened slightly, revealing a look of surprise. There was no other reason. Ningyu, who was in midair, had completely refined the 3 corpses of the Earth Hellhounds. And above Ningyu's head, a pitch-black tribulation cloud had appeared. Although the tribulation cloud was only the size of a palm, Zhao Rui knew that as time went by, the tribulation cloud would definitely grow bigger and bigger. Whoosh! It turned out that Zhao Rui's guess was right. The tribulation cloud above Ning Yu's head grew bigger and bigger. In just a few seconds, it had grown several times bigger. Moreover, the tribulation cloud was still growing bigger. The Heaven Immortal Tribulation. Without a doubt, the tribulation cloud above Ning Yu's head was his Heaven Immortal Tribulation. So terrifying? feeling the terrifying aura emanating from the tribulation cloud. Even though immortal Hong Ling was mentally prepared, she could not help but gasp. Chapter 2066. Compared to immortal Hong Ling, Zhao Rui was truly shocked. Zhao Rui was so shocked that she stood rooted to the ground. She wanted to say something, but eventually shut her mouth. Miscalculation. A huge miscalculation. Zhao Rui knew that she was wrong, very wrong. Although Ning Yu's heaven immortal tribulation had yet to reach its peak, it was already comparable to hers. It was conceivable that once Ning Yu's heaven immortal tribulation broke out completely, it would definitely crush hers. This was because as time passed, Ning Yu's heaven immortal tribulation became more and more terrifying. Will it attract the attention of the owner of the mountain range? Ning Yu's tribulation cloud continued to strengthen, giving Zhao Rui a sense of danger for the first time. Based on this trend, even if there were 10 formation eyes, they might not be able to withstand the impact of Ning Yu's heaven immortal tribulation, let alone 5 formation eyes and 25 giant stone pillars. As long as the 5 formation eyes were broken, the owner of the mountain range would definitely appear. At that time, it was highly likely that danger would befall them. Rumble. Ningyu did not know about Zhao Rui's worries. However, even though Ningyu knew about Zhao Rui's worries, there was nothing he could do at the moment. After devouring and refining the 3 corpses of the earthly hellhounds, the energy in his body was completely saturated, and he automatically triggered the heaven immortal tribulation. Ningyu raised his head and looked at the black tribulation cloud that appeared in midair. His expression became extremely solemn. The heaven immortal tribulation was different from the earth immortal tribulation. Strictly speaking, only those who had passed the heaven immortal tribulation could be considered as real immortals. After all, there were no earth immortal laws in the body of an earth immortal, but there were heaven immortal laws in the body of a heaven immortal. The power of laws was the biggest difference between a heaven immortal and an earth immortal. Whoosh! All of a sudden, a waist-thick tribulation cloud appeared in midair and smashed towards Ningyu fiercely. Whoosh! Although the tribulation cloud was only as thick as a person's waist, the lightning energy it contained was exceptionally terrifying. As expected of a sky immortal tribulation cloud, Ningyu took a deep breath before clenching his right hand into a fist and abruptly punched out. To deal with the first tribulation cloud, Ningyu would not use any trump cards. He did not even use his immortal energy. Instead, he would purely rely on his physical strength to resist it. Gotcha! In the time it took for a spark to fly off a flint, Ningyu's fist collided with the first tribulation cloud. A crisp sound rang out. Ningyu retreated dozens of feet, and the first tribulation cloud dissipated into thin air. Whoosh! However, Ningyu did not have time to rest. After the first tribulation cloud was dispersed, the second tribulation cloud descended. Compared to the first tribulation cloud, the power of the second tribulation cloud was much stronger. If the power of the first tribulation cloud was equivalent to the full force strike of a late heaven immortal expert, then the power of the second tribulation cloud was equivalent to the full force strike of a peak late heaven immortal expert. Block! Against the second tribulation cloud, Ningyu still did not use his immortal energy. He clenched his right fist and punched again. Gotcha! The same thing happened. Ningyu retreated several feet, and the tribulation cloud dissipated between heaven and earth. Ningyu's physical strength is so strong. In the distance, Zhao Rui could not help but exclaim when she saw Ningyu resist the 2 tribulation clouds with just his fist. Although it was only the first 2 tribulation clouds, their power was equivalent to the attack of a late heaven immortal expert. The fact that Ningyu resisted them with his physical strength was enough to prove that the toughness of Ningyu's body was at least at the late heaven immortal level, or even the peak heaven immortal level. Boom! Just as Zhao Rui was secretly shocked, Ningyu's third tribulation cloud suddenly descended. Swoosh! Zhao Rui hurriedly looked over. She wanted to see if Ningyu would be like the previous two and purely rely on his physical strength to resist the third tribulation cloud. The power of the third tribulation cloud increased a lot again, and it was only half a step away from the true peak heaven immortal level. According to Zhao Rui's observation, the power of Ningyu's fourth tribulation cloud would definitely reach the peak heaven immortal level. Again, Ningyu gritted his teeth and swung his fist again. I'm going to beat you. Ningyu's action made Zhao Rui unable to help but swear. Zhao Rui had to admit that Ningyu's boldness made her admire him for resisting the tribulation cloud 3 times in a row. However, admiration was admiration, and Zhao Rui was secretly worried for Ningyu. Zhao Rui even complained in her heart. She was worried that Ningyu would be too careless. If it were her, she would definitely use the immortal chi in her body to resist the third tribulation cloud. Crack! However, what happened next made Zhao Rui's mouth open wide, and she blushed for her own judgment again. Ningyu used his physical strength to resist the third tribulation cloud again. As the saying goes, once, twice, no more thrice. Ningyu used his physical strength to resist the tribulation cloud again and again, which was really beyond her expectation. Rumble. However, Ningyu's heaven immortal tribulation was far from that simple. Immediately after, a series of tribulation clouds came out of the void and smashed towards Ningyu. Although the power of these tribulation clouds had not reached the peak of heaven immortal, it was a little stronger than the third tribulation cloud. Essence creating divine staff. Ningyu's mind moved, and he took out the essence creating divine staff from his storage ring. Even though Ningyu did not like the essence creating divine staff, he could not deny the power of the essence creating divine staff. It couldn't be better to use the essence creating divine staff to resist these tribulation clouds. Crack, 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 under the powerful power of the essence creating divine staff. In an instant, 3 tribulation clouds were broken and shattered. With Ningyu's strength and the help of the essence creating divine staff, it did not take too much effort to resist this wave of tribulation clouds. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At the same time, a void not far from Ningyu's group suddenly split open, and a group of 3 martial artists gradually appeared. If Ningyu were here, he would definitely recognize these 3 cultivators as the cultivators he had met outside the path to heaven. The purple-robed elixir puppet, the bamboo hat martial artist, and a white-robed martial artist. Among the 3 of them, the purple-robed Dan Xiao was the strongest as he had reached the peak of heaven immortal stage. The bamboo hat martial artist was the second strongest as he was at the peak of late heaven immortal stage. The white-robed martial artist was even weaker as he was at the late heaven immortal stage. Ha ha! After stopping, the purple-robed Dan puppet raised his head and laughed maniacally. Then, he said darkly, "This is really a case of wearing out iron shoes in fruitless searching, only to find it by chance. The martial artist undergoing the tribulation is Ningyu." The bamboo hat martial artist was a man of few words. "What are you waiting for? Let's go. We can't let the origin divine staff fall into someone else's hands." The white-robed martial artist said anxiously, "What's the hurry?" The purple-robed Dan puppet glanced at the white-robed martial artist and said lightly, "If I'm not wrong, Ningyu should be undergoing the sky immortal tribulation. What's the use of running there now? Do you want to enter his thunder tribulation? Let's hide first. When he finishes his tribulation, he must be very weak. When that time comes, we can rush out together. Why worry about not being able to get the origin divine staff?" The bamboo hat martial artist said. As his voice fell, the bamboo hat martial artist suddenly drilled into the void and disappeared. Swish, swish. Chapter 2067. At the same time, in another area, the void suddenly split open. A martial artist appeared out of thin air. Mo Ran. This martial artist was Mo Ran from the Wuheng Cave. Is he undergoing the great tribulation of celestial immortal? Mo Ran frowned slightly. Without thinking, Mo Ran knew that the martial artist undergoing the tribulation was Ningyu. After all the martial artists who entered the path to heaven, except for Ningyu, were at the celestial immortal realm. Now that someone was undergoing the great tribulation of celestial immortal, there was a 99% chance that this person was Ningyu. Unlike Dan Puppet and the others, Mo Ran was very far away from Ningyu. He could only detect a trace of the heavenly tribulation's aura, but he could not directly determine that it was Ningyu who was undergoing the tribulation. Although he guessed that it was Ningyu 99%, there was still a 1% chance that it was not Ningyu. Swish! Clenching his fists, Mo Ran stomped on the ground, and his body darted out in an instant. Ka. Not long after Mo Ran disappeared, the space in the area he was in cracked open again. Sharp-mouthed Shadow Mouse. It was a member of the Shadow Mouse clan, a sharp-mouthed Shadow Mouse. Over there, the sharp-mouthed Shadow Mouse sniffed hard, then burrowed into the void and disappeared. The same thing kept happening. To be precise, as long as the martial artists sensed Ningyu's great tribulation of celestial immortal, they all rushed over without stopping. Therefore, it became a great feat in the path to heaven. Martial artists from all directions rushed out, for fear that the origin-creating divine staff would be snatched away if they were a step late. Of course, for these martial artists at the late stage of celestial immortal, even if they reached the mountain range where Ningyu was and saw Ningyu, they were destined to not be able to get the origin-creating divine staff. Puff! In the mountain range, a huge tribulation cloud came crashing down and fiercely smashed onto Ningyu's chest. The tearing pain from his chest made Ningyu's throat sweet, and he immediately spat out a mouthful of red blood. The 48th tribulation cloud. Not too far away from Ningyu, Zhao Rui, Immortal Redling, and even Red Fiend were already numb. From the beginning until now, Ningyu had already forcefully withstood 48 tribulation clouds. These tribulation clouds, Ningyu used his physical strength to forcefully resist. Starting from the 24th tribulation cloud, the power of the tribulation cloud had already reached the peak of Heaven Immortal. More than 20 tribulation clouds with the power of a peak stage Heaven Immortal had almost reached the limit that Ningyu's body could withstand. Rumble. The void trembled as Ningyu's 49th tribulation cloud descended. Again, even though he was covered in blood, Ningyu was still fearless. He wanted to use his physical strength to resist the 49th tribulation cloud. On the other side, Zhao Rui, Immortal Red Bell, and Red Fiend. The three of them didn't even dare to watch. This was because Ningyu was already covered in blood. They were really afraid that Ningyu would not be able to withstand the 49th tribulation cloud. Whoosh! Under the watchful eyes of Zhao Rui and the rest, the 49th tribulation cloud smashed onto Ningyu's body. Crack! 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 In an instant, several crisp sounds came from Ningyu's body. It was obvious. 3 bones in Ningyu's body were broken. Finally, at the cost of 3 broken bones, Ningyu withstood the 49th tribulation cloud. Ningyu's Heaven Immortal tribulation is over. Immortal Red Bell looked at Ningyu, then looked at the calm void above Ningyu's head and asked doubtfully, "It's not over." Zhao Rui's expression was extremely solemn. She said in a deep voice, "If I'm not wrong, it's just that the first stage of Ningyu's Heaven Immortal tribulation is over." The first stage? Immortal Red Bell was slightly stunned. She then said, "You mean there's a second stage?" "Heh, it's not just the second stage. There are at least 4 or 5 more stages." Zhao Rui sneered and said, "Gasp." Hearing Zhao Rui's words, Immortal Red Bell gasped. The first stage of the tribulation cloud was already so powerful. What about the second, third, and even the 4th stage of the tribulation cloud? Recover. Ningyu did not argue. He hurriedly mobilized the immortal chi in his body and began to recover. Ningyu was very clear. The first stage of the tribulation cloud was just the appetizer. The real feast was yet to come. The reason why the real feast was yet to come was that none of the other formation eyes had appeared. Time flew by. In the blink of an eye, 3 minutes had passed. In 3 minutes, not only had Ning Yu connected the 3 broken bones, but he had also recovered to his peak state. Then, the void cracked again. The second stage of the tribulation cloud suddenly fell. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. 5 terrifying tribulation clouds fell from the sky and attacked Ning Yu at an extremely terrifying speed. Rumble. However, at that moment, the ground not far away from Ning Yu suddenly caved in. 5 giant stone pillars emerged from the ground. The second formation eye, without a doubt, the 5 giant stone pillars formed the second formation eye. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Seeing the appearance of the 5 stone pillars, the 5 terrifying tribulation clouds in the sky suddenly turned around and attacked the stone pillars. The sudden change left Ning Yu dumbfounded. What was going on? Why did the tribulation clouds suddenly change direction? One had to know that these were his second stage tribulation clouds. Now that the tribulation clouds were attacking the 5 giant stone pillars, Ning Yu was a little confused. Crack, 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 crack. Just as Ning Yu was pondering, the 5 giant stone pillars were broken by the 5 tribulation clouds. At the same time, 4 half-step mystic immortal earthhound corpses and 5 mystic immortal earthhound corpses flew out from the small altar at the top of the stone pillars. This is my chance. Ning Yu gritted his teeth and immediately charged out. With so many earthhound corpses, it would be a waste not to take them. Anyway, he was still worried that he couldn't break through to the mid-stage heavenly immortal realm. If he had these earthhound corpses, he would definitely be able to break through to the mid-stage heavenly immortal realm. Ning Yu's speed was very fast. In the blink of an eye, he was already close to the corpses. Go in. Ning Yu immediately opened his storage ring and took out the leftover materials from the lightning pool. Using the leftover materials, he threw the earthhound corpses into the storage ring. Rumble. Just as Ning Yu placed the 9 earthhound corpses into the storage ring, his third stage tribulation clouds had already arrived. In the sky, several tribulation clouds covered the sky and struck towards Ning Yu. Buzz, buzz. However, the same thing happened. The third formation eye appeared. 5 giant stone pillars slowly emerged from the ground. Just like before, the tribulation clouds in the sky turned around again and struck towards the 5 giant stone pillars. Ning Yu seized the opportunity and stored the 9 earth hound corpses in the third formation eye into the storage ring. At this point, there were 8 half-step mystic immortal earth hound corpses and 10 mystic immortal earth hound corpses in the storage ring. With so many earth hound corpses, the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu got a great deal. In the storage ring, the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu were extremely busy. Chapter 2068. Gulp. On the other side, Zhao Ruwei and Immortal Hong Ling couldn't help but swallow when they saw Ning Yu's actions. Wasn't this too exaggerated? At this rate, it wouldn't be long before all 5 formation eyes were destroyed. And once the formation eyes were destroyed, then the owner of the entire mountain range was very likely to appear. Rumble. However, what shocked Zhao Ruwei and Immortal Hong Ling was yet to come. In midair, Ning Yu's 4th stage tribulation cloud suddenly descended. Obviously, Ning Yu's 4th stage tribulation cloud corresponded to the 4th formation eye. Before long, the 4 half-step abstruse immortal and 5 abstruse immortal earthhound corpses in the 4th formation eye were put into Ning Yu's storage ring. Whoosh! The same thing was happening again and again. Ning Yu's 5th stage tribulation cloud easily destroyed the 5th array core, allowing Ning Yu to obtain the corpse of the Earth Hell Hound in the 5th array core without any effort. So far, apart from the first formation eye, Ning Yu had a total of 16 half-step abstruse immortal and 20 abstruse immortal Earthhound corpses. Because Ning Yu had been paying attention to the gradually enlarging tribulation cloud, he didn't pay attention to the situation in the storage ring. If Ning Yu knew the situation in the storage ring, he would probably be very angry. because the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu had already devoured 10 half-step abstruse immortal Earthhound corpses in a short period of time. It wasn't that Ning Yu didn't want to, but in his opinion, since the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu had devoured so many corpses, their cultivation should have increased. However, the aura that the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu emitted was still at the peak of the Earth Immortal realm, and there was still a long way to go before they reached the early stage of the Heaven Immortal realm. Of course, Ning Yu didn't have the time to pay attention to these trivial matters for now. He stared at the huge tribulation cloud in midair, and his expression became extremely solemn. The last tribulation cloud. The huge tribulation cloud in midair was the last tribulation cloud for Ning Yu's heavenly immortal tribulation. Ning Yu sensed an extremely terrifying aura from the tribulation cloud. Half-step profound immortal. Ning Yu took a deep breath, and his expression turned solemn. Even though he was mentally prepared, he couldn't help but feel nervous. What kind of concept was a half-step profound immortal? If he was able to resist this tribulation cloud, then if he encountered Mo Ran, the purple-clothed Dan puppet, and the others again in the future, he might be able to annihilate them without having to waste too much effort. Chi-Chi. The tribulation clouds in the sky didn't make Ning Yu wait for too long. 1 minute later, a huge black tribulation cloud swept down from the void and blasted fiercely towards Ning Yu. Ka-ka-ka. Zhao Rui and immortal Hong Ling clenched their fists tightly as they watched the enormous black tribulation cloud rumble towards Ning Yu. They looked extremely nervous. Red Fiend's actions were even more exaggerated. If it wasn't for Zhao Rui and immortal Hong Ling stopping him, Red Fiend would definitely rush into the tribulation cloud and help Ning Yu to resist this tribulation cloud. Because in Red Fiend's opinion, Ning Yu's cultivation had not reached the heavenly immortal stage after all. It was really unwise for him to go head-on against a half-step profound immortal tribulation. Let me test your power first. Ning Yu raised his head and looked at the black tribulation cloud that was only a few feet away from him. He took out the leftover materials from the lightning pool unhurriedly. The hardness of the leftover materials was no less than that of the Essence Creation Divine Staff. Ning Yu had some confidence in using the leftover materials from the lightning pool to resist the half-step profound immortal tribulation cloud. However, it was just a little bit of confidence. Ning Yu didn't bet all his treasures on the leftover materials from the lightning pool. If the leftover materials were useless, wouldn't he have to face this tribulation cloud directly? Therefore, Ning Yu placed the leftover materials on top of his head while he used the Essence Creation Divine Staff to build a second line of defense. At the same time, Ning Yu began to contact the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu in the storage ring. He wanted them to inject their recovered energy into his body. If it really didn't work, he would go head-on against the tribulation cloud. I can't believe it. However, as soon as Ning Yu's perception entered the storage ring, he couldn't help but curse. Wasn't the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu too exaggerated? In just a few minutes, not only did the two of them devour and refine 16 half-step profound immortal Earthhound corpses, they even refined 2 profound immortal Earthhound corpses. Ning Yu, where did you find these Earthhound corpses? They are really great nourishment for me. Sensing Ning Yu's perception entering the storage ring, the Dark Emperor grabbed another profound immortal Earthhound corpse and threw it into his mouth to chew. Yeah, with so many Earthhound corpses, I feel like my battle strength can soar to the peak of Heaven Immortal and even have a chance to break through to the half-step profound immortal realm. Ning Lu strongly agreed with the Dark Emperor. I'll deal with you guys later. Ning Yu knew what was more important. What he needed to do now wasn't to argue with the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu, but to gather his strength to resist the last tribulation cloud. Blocked it, the lightning pool would appear, and he could complete the absorption of the tribulation lightning here. Unable to block it, he would most likely vanish into thin air. Ding! Suddenly, a crisp sound rang out. The leftover materials from the lightning pool above Ning Yu's head had already collided with a huge black tribulation cloud. Ning Yu was dumbfounded. Zhao Rui was dumbfounded. Immortal Hong Ling and Hong Mo were dumbfounded. Apart from a few of them, even the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu in the storage ring were dumbfounded. The leftover materials from the lightning pool had actually blocked the impact of the Black Tribulation Cloud. Wong. The Black Tribulation Cloud seemed to have some pride. It swayed rapidly in the air a few times, then dove down again. Swish! However, the leftover materials from the lightning pool seemed to be at odds with it. No matter which direction it attacked Ningyu from, the leftover materials from the lightning pool would perfectly block it. This situation didn't last long. After all, Ningyu's great tribulation of the sky immortal had come to an end. The black clouds in the void were slowly dissipating. The dissipation of the black clouds in the void meant that the power of Ningyu's last tribulation cloud was rapidly weakening. Crack! Not long after, Ningyu's last tribulation cloud couldn't hold on any longer and was smashed to pieces by the leftover materials from the lightning pool. Whoosh! The shattering of the last tribulation cloud indicated that Ningyu's great tribulation of the sky immortal had come to an end. Now that the tribulation was over, the next thing was naturally the baptism of the tribulation lightning. The void trembled, and then a golden lightning pool slowly appeared in front of everyone. Tribulation lightning liquid. Seeing the appearance of the golden lightning pool, even though Zhao Rui was from the Central Divine Dynasty, she couldn't help but look serious. Zhao Rui's perception was originally very strong. She could clearly feel that the lightning tribulation fluid in the golden lightning pool was extremely authentic lightning tribulation fluid. The reason why it was called authentic was that the tribulation lightning liquid in the golden lightning pool wasn't even qualified to appear in some experts who were undergoing the great tribulation of the sky immortal. Chapter 2069. Zhao Rui came from the Central Divine Dynasty. She could say without exaggeration that even in the Central Divine Dynasty, the number of people who could do what Ningyu had done was less than a handful. There were many people who could do that. The number of geniuses Zhao Rui mentioned was not only limited to this batch of geniuses, but also included all the geniuses since the establishment of the Central Divine Dynasty until now. There were more than 10 million geniuses in the Central Divine Dynasty. It was no wonder that Zhao Rui was shocked that Ningyu could rank in the top 5 among so many geniuses. I wonder if Ningyu will give me a cup, Zhao Rui murmured, staring at the golden thunder pool in midair. However, before Zhao Rui's murmur had died away, several sinister laughs rang in her ears. Ha ha! It seems that this trip was worth it. Even if we can't get the Origin Divine Staff, with so much Thunder Tribulation fluid, our strength can double. Yes, improving our own strength is the most important thing. As long as our strength doubles, I don't believe we can't leave the path to heaven. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and make your move. Snatch the lightning pool first. Swoosh. Many experts who had been attracted by Ningyu's celestial immortal tribulation finally couldn't help showing their fangs after seeing the thunder tribulation fluid. To be honest, the appearance of so many experts made Zhao Rui and Immortal Hongling's faces darken. Even though these people were the same heavenly immortal realm experts that were at the entrance of the path to heaven not long ago, but compared to that time, the strengths of these heavenly immortal realm experts had increased by over 2 times. In layman's terms, Zhao Rui and Immortal Hongling thought they had no ability to deal with them. Plop. Ningyu didn't seem to notice the appearance of these people. He still did what he wanted and jumped into the thunder pool. Wisps of thunder tribulation fluid entered Ningyu's body through his pores, and Ningyu absorbed the thunder tribulation fluid at a very fast speed. Almost every second, Ningyu's strength would increase a little. However, this action of Ningyu angered the warriors who had appeared around. Xiao, a bearded cultivator, soared up from the ground and charged at Ningyu. This bearded martial artist cultivation was at the peak of late sky immortal stage. In terms of combat prowess, he was a bit stronger than a mortal devil snake. Kid, if you know what's good for you, you'd better hurry up and... Pooh! Before the bearded man could finish his sentence, His body lost control of itself and was sent flying backward. He spat out a mouthful of blood. What happened? Why did Beard fly back by himself? You're asking me? Who am I supposed to ask? It should be Ningyu who made the move just now. I saw him raise his hand slightly. The surrounding martial artists once again discussed spiritedly. But this time, they looked at Ningyu as if they were looking at a monster. This was because Ningyu had only raised his hand, and the bearded cultivator was sent flying. Furthermore, his aura had dropped to a freezing point. Everyone, don't be frightened by Ningyu. I saw everything that happened just now very clearly. It was the girl beside Ningyu who made the move. Just as everyone was at a standstill, a deep voice suddenly resounded. The purpose of this voice was very clear. It was to point the spearhead at Zhao Rui, making Ningyu the target of public criticism once again. No wonder. I thought that Ningyu only moved a finger. How could he possibly defeat the bearded cultivator? I suggest that we attack together. If we're a step late, the lightning tribulation fluid will be completely absorbed by Ningyu. Go! With this fanning, many martial artists rushed out one after another, charging at Ningyu from all directions. Splash! Sensing so many martial artists charging at him, Ningyu suddenly stood up from the lightning pool and stored the lightning tribulation fluid in the lightning pool into a jade bottle and threw it into his storage ring. Buzz buzz! After the lightning tribulation fluid was put away by Ningyu, the lightning pool immediately turned into a shadow and disappeared. Ningyu first cracked his neck, then waved his hand at Zhao Rui and Immortal Hongling, indicating that they didn't need to come over and help. The current Ningyu was no longer the same as before. After transcending the heavenly immortal tribulation, his cultivation base had surpassed the early-stage heavenly immortal realm with the help of the netherworld hound's corpse that he had devoured earlier, and reached the mid-stage heavenly immortal realm. After advancing to the mid-stage heavenly immortal realm, Ningyu didn't know exactly how strong his true strength was. Coincidentally, at this moment, with so many cannon fodder coming to cause trouble, it was the perfect opportunity for Ningyu to test his strength. Can Ningyu do it? Seeing Ningyu wave his hand, Immortal Hongling revealed a worried expression. No one was more excited than Immortal Hongling that Ningyu had advanced to the mid-stage heavenly immortal realm. Because only when Ningyu's strength continued to increase, she would have a chance to advance to the mystic immortal realm if she followed Ningyu. Otherwise, if Ningyu continued to stay where he was, she would never be able to advance to the mystic immortal realm if she followed behind Ningyu. As long as those experts don't appear, Ningyu shouldn't have much of a problem. Zhao Rui glanced towards the east and said in a low voice, "To be honest, as for Ningyu's current strength, Zhao Rui was also completely clueless about it. However, there was one thing Zhao Rui could be sure of, and that was that Ningyu wouldn't do something he wasn't confident in. Since Ningyu dared to face so many martial artists head-on, it meant that he had the strength to do so. Those few experts. Immortal Hongling was stunned at first. Then her expression became extremely solemn. Immortal Hongling wasn't stupid. She naturally knew who those experts Zhao Rui mentioned were. Mo Ran of the Everlasting Cave, the Pill Puppet clan's purple-robed pill puppet, the martial artist wearing a bamboo hat. The real battle seemed to have just begun. Puffed. In midair, Ningyu's fist landed on the head of a late-stage heaven immortal martial artist. The martial artist's head exploded, and blood and flesh splattered everywhere. To deal with this kind of martial artist, one had to be heavy-handed and kill him in one blow. He couldn't leave any leeway for him. Otherwise, when he recovered, he would still be your enemy next time. There was only one thought in Ningyu's mind, and that was to kill all these people. In any case, there were the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu in his storage ring, and even Hong Mo and Zhao Rui. With the devouring ability of the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu, even if there were a few peak heaven immortal martial artists, they would be easily devoured, let alone these martial artists who provoked them. After all, devouring the corpse of a half-step mystic immortal earthhound was as easy as eating for them. Although a lot of energy had been lost from the corpse of a half-step mystic immortal earthhound, it still contained much more energy than a peak heaven immortal martial artist. If not for the fact that he was busy, Ningyu would definitely ask the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu why their strength hadn't improved at all. Everyone, calm down. Ningyu is a wax head with a silver spear. As long as we remain calm, Ningyu definitely won't be able to pose a threat to us. A low voice sounded in the void again. Umph! Come out! Chapter 2070. Not good. The white-robed cultivator paled and hastily retreated. Moreover, as he retreated, the white-clothed martial artist kept asking for help from the purple-clothed pill puppet and the bamboo hat martial artist. After all, his peak late-stage sky immortal cultivation made it very difficult for him to fight against Ningyu. Unless the purple-robed Dan puppet and the bamboo-hatted martial artist helped him, he would definitely die. Should we go or not? The bamboo hat cultivator asked with a gloomy expression. In truth, after seeing Ningyu successfully advance to the mid-stage sky immortal stage, the bamboo hat cultivator no longer wanted to clash with Ningyu. His idea was very simple. He would let others fight with Ningyu, and he would just sit back and reap the benefits. Wait a little longer, the pill puppet said expressionlessly. The pill puppet was a peak sky immortal, so he could see the situation more clearly. Ningyu had already matured. Even if the pill puppet and the bamboo hat cultivator attacked together, they wouldn't be able to harm Ningyu in the slightest. For now, he could only wait for this path to be chosen. There was no other way. Damn it, the white-robed cultivator was no fool. He instantly determined that the pill puppet and the bamboo hat cultivator wouldn't help him. After cursing inwardly, the white-robed cultivator decisively said to Ningyu, I surrender. I am willing to serve you. You only want to serve me now? I'm sorry, but I don't accept it. Ningyu slowly shook his head, then turned his palm into a fist and punched at the white-robed cultivator's head. Swish! At this critical moment, the white-robed cultivator hastily dodged. Although the martial artist in white was very fast, he was still punched in the chest by Ningyu, who was even faster. Crack! Crack! With a few crisp sounds, several of the white-robed cultivator's ribs broke. Die! Ningyu didn't give the white-robed cultivator any chance. As soon as he succeeded in his attack, he immediately gave chase. This time, the cultivator in white was not so lucky. His head came into close contact with Ningyu's fist. All of a sudden, the white-clothed martial artist's head exploded, and his flesh and blood became a mess. I was a bit too heavy-handed. Looks like I'll have to pay more attention in the future. Ningyu stared at the white-robed martial artist's corpse for a moment before grabbing the white-robed martial artist's shoulder and tossing him into his storage ring. Since the Dark Emperor and Ning Lu were in his storage ring, Ningyu wasn't worried that no one would be able to digest the corpse of the cultivator in white. After doing all this, Ningyu's gaze swept across the surroundings, and his indifferent voice rang out. Who else wants my tribulation lightning fluid? Whoosh! Although Ningyu spoke very gently and did not have any killing intent, the surrounding martial artists were not stupid. Who would dare to oppose Ningyu now? Even someone as strong as the white-clothed martial artist was killed in a few moves, let alone small fries like them. I'll give you a chance to live now. Ningyu was prepared to kill them all at first, but on second thought, the expert hidden in the void had not appeared yet, so he couldn't exhaust himself too much. If he exhausted himself too much, wouldn't he be at a disadvantage when the expert in the void appeared? What do you want us to do? Hearing Ningyu's words, a bald-headed, heavenly, immortal late-stage martial artist mustered up his courage and asked. That's a very good question. Ningyu raised his head and swept a glance at the bald-headed martial artist and said, As long as you hand over your worldly possessions to me, I'll spare your lives. Worldly possessions? The bald-headed martial artist patted his bald head, then took out a storage bag and said, All my magic treasures and pills are in this storage bag. I'll hand it over to you now. Swoosh! The bald-headed martial artist flicked his wrist and tossed the storage bag to Ningyu. Pa! Ningyu stretched out his right hand and caught the storage bag steadily. However, even though he caught the storage bag, Ningyu's expression did not look good. He waved the storage bag in his hand and said to the bald-headed martial artist, "I'll give you one more chance. Are these really all your worldly possessions?" Really? Puffed. The bald-headed martial artist gritted his teeth. Before the bald-headed martial artist could finish his words, Ningyu flicked his finger and a cold light flew out. Chi-chi! The cold light swept across the void, and under the horrified gaze of the bald-headed martial artist, it pierced through his temple. Thump! The bald-headed martial artist's eyes widened as his body fell backward. Gasp! The death of the bald martial artist caused the surrounding martial artists to suck in a breath of cold air. Very quickly, the surroundings fell into dead silence. Ningyu acted as if nothing had happened. He casually threw the bald-headed martial artist into a storage ring and said indifferently, "I'll say it one last time. Whoever wants to live, hand over all your worldly possessions to me." You're going back on your word. The bald-headed martial artist has already handed over all his worldly possessions to you. But you, puffed. Suddenly, a lame late-stage, heavenly, immortal martial artist yelled. Ningyu did not waste his breath. He flicked his finger again, and a cold light shot out. Just like the bald-headed martial artist, the lame late-stage, heavenly, immortal martial artist fell to the ground on the spot and died tragically. The death of the bald-headed martial artist and the lame martial artist made the expressions of the martial artists who hoped to get lucky very ugly. They originally thought that Ningyu was bluffing them. Who would have thought that Ningyu could really see through them? In this case, if they wanted to live, there were only two possibilities. First, defeat Ningyu or even kill him. Second, according to what Ningyu said, hand over all their worldly possessions. I'll do it. Not long after, a long-haired, late-stage, heavenly, immortal martial artist threw out a storage pouch. I'll do it too. Me too. I'm willing to hand over all my worldly possessions to you. Even if you want me, it's not impossible. With the first long-haired martial artist taking the lead, the remaining martial artists seemed to have their psychological defenses shattered in an instant and followed suit. There were even beautiful martial artists who boldly confessed their love to Ningyu. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Looking at the storage pouches flying towards him, Ningyu did not panic. Instead, he opened his storage ring and did not reject any of them, putting them all into his storage ring. Can we go now? After handing over the storage pouches, the surrounding martial artists looked at Ningyu with apprehension and asked cautiously. After all, losing all their worldly possessions meant that their lives were completely in the hands of Ningyu. It could be said that, if Ningyu wanted them to live, they might not necessarily be able to because this was the path to heaven and it was extremely dangerous. However, if Ningyu did not want them to live, they would definitely die. Whether you leave or not doesn't seem to have much to do with me, right? Ningyu shrugged and said indifferently, "Let me give you a piece of advice. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind." The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind? The surrounding martial artists were dumbfounded when they heard about Ningyu's physique. Could there be a third party hidden in the void? At that thought, the surrounding martial artists released their senses, wanting to see if there were any hidden martial artists in the void. Killing with a borrowed knife. They want to use these people to deplete our strength. The purple-robed elixir puppet's face was livid, and he gritted his teeth in hatred. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.